Hello and welcome to another video here on the channel. We've got a bit of a podcast format going on. As everyone knows me here, I'm Lumus TCG, and I'm joined by three good friends of mine. I've got Shadow of Laughter, Trevor, and someone that you've never seen on the channel before. How would you like to be known before I even say your real name?
Well, Trevor's going by Trevor, so I guess Amy.
Right,
yeah.
Okay. We're going to be talking about Digimon and stuff. It's Sunday, we've had our locals and stuff today, so we're going to talk about how that went. We've got regionals coming up, so by the time you're actually watching this, we're actually down at regionals right now. Hopefully it's going good. Hopefully. This podcast is yet to be named. Hopefully it's named by the time it goes live. Yay! So...
We'll figure it out.
We will. This idea came because these three kept pestering me, essentially. It's like, look,
I never pestered you. How dare you?
I pestered.
Yeah.
I pestered.
They were just like, look, after locals, we generally sit down and we talk shit about Digimon anyway, so why not just record it? So it's like, right then, let's do it then. This is what you guys wanted, so this is what we're doing. So yeah, as the winner of today's locals, do you want to talk about how your matches went?
Hi. So I won today. I won with my Dexter build, the same one you would have seen in the last video on the channel on the simulator match against Lumus, same list.
Absolutely brutal.
Few changes from the deck that was uploaded. I've gone back and I've thrown some trainings in, thrown in a Grand Koaga Ace. Didn't really come up. The trainings came up. Grand Koaga Ace didn't really come up. Round 1, I was paired against Red Hybrids. Went pretty well. I lost game 1 as they kind of just rushed me down.
What you can't do it, love.
I can't do it regionals because it's best of 1.
Honestly, that's the biggest thing that's scaring all of us. It's just best of 1. So like,
Yeah.
we're all so used to best of 3 format and being able to plan a comeback. Where regionals is just like best of 1. It's like the first game has to count.
Yeah. So first game, you rushed me down. Game, I kind of messed up, I believe, in game 1 because I kind of tried to do the normal Dex tactics of going up and kind of trying to digivolve on their turn, and I'm pretty sure they kind of got around that by just popping the line beforehand. I didn't have the correct decks in trash, I'm pretty sure. But game 2 and 3, I kind of just... It was pretty easy to just go through the tactics of the deck and just
It
win.
was against me.
No, she's
No,
talking
that
about
was
in
round
the
2.
Yeah.
So, round 2 I was against Amy. Amy was playing a Machine Digimon build that's running Mothers as the egg. And that was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I kind of just drew perfect hands.
Wow!
I did.
Correct.
It happened. It happened. I did.
It's just easy.
Let this man cook!
I said easier than I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not totally
Uh-huh.
getting himself out of that hood, right?
I've got a shovel in the back if we need some help, like, but apparently don't.
Okay, like, it was just... I don't know, it was a normal couple games, like, it wasn't... nothing tricky happened, nothing, like... It kind of just played how it should. It wasn't... nothing interesting, really, in terms of, like, interactions. It was just kind of... yeah, how the deck was supposed to play. The third round, I was against Shine. And it was mostly an older build of Shine. Like, I wasn't seeing any new cards in it. And so I lost game 1 of that again, because I went to attack. And I wasn't expecting the Burst Modius, because I didn't think the Shine player I was against had gotten hold of any of the new stuff. But he had, apparently. So the Burst Modius came out of
What are
nowhere.
we, like 2 sets into the new Shine? Like, I mean...
Well, he wasn't playing any of the bottom.
You say what 2 sets. Do you really want to say what 2 sets in? Because, I mean, for context, for those watching or listening, we live inside the UK boundary, which means we get really shafted by release dates of sets.
I mean,
We're still. I'll put it this way: in terms of our local card shop, we're still waiting for EX6. Never mind the EX7 that we haven't got.
Oh,
yet.
we're never getting
We're
it.
never getting
well,
it.
what's EX7?
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's a phenomenon.
But yeah, and
Did
then
we not move our boxes to the...
we did move our boxes to EXM.
We'll get it at some point.
But yeah, so like game 2 and 3, I kind of just won pretty easily. Like I kind of just learned and wasn't stupid. Like that's the thing. When I lost game 1 against Shine and Red Hybrids, it was mostly just me being dumb and making a mistake. And then
No, he said it, and this will be in video for the rest of the game.
round 4,
Yeah.
round 4 was honestly the hardest because it was against this guy
I...
on Ancient Garurumon, and our first game lasted like 25 minutes,
Neither of us could really take the upper hand in that game.
it was hard, which is a first because usually you wipe me
Yeah, you
in that
weren't...
matchup.
Yeah.
But we both kind of made mistakes early in the game that kind of prolonged the game further.
I feel as well like the main reason that game was taken is because of the paladin mode. When I
Yeah,
was forgetting
like,
that remote deletes it.
That interaction, like, it was so telegraphed. I knew you were going into it,
Yeah.
but like I was on a ruin mode stack, and like
I literally
all
just
the Digivolutions.
forgetting about room modes and the attack is just brutal.
Yeah. So I was just like, I was sitting on swinging on it for so long. I was like, I was trying to go through my head, like, does it really matter? Like, over and over again. And all I came to was like, no, because the thing's still going to die. Ruin mode, like, Paladin mode doesn't stop.
I
the
feel like
way, so.
if I hadn't gone the paladin, that game might have
Honestly,
honestly,
be different. Like, I don't know if it would have mattered if you would have won or
First
lost.
mode ace would have been a better ace.
Yeah.
Scenario.
Honestly, I don't even think it would have mattered either. I think realistically in that scenario, I only had the one ace in hand anyway. But
yeah.
if I'd stayed on the ancient, at least I would have had the undeletion effects, which would have got me the hybrid, the tamer back, and allowed me to at least do stuff.
Potentially. I feel like from Ruin mode, I was still just in a better position overall.
Yeah.
Because Ruin mode is just Ruin mode. Like, it just kind of stops you for a couple of turns and allows me to just get my setup back up.
Really, it's like so.
Yeah.
So-
That's what it did.
So essentially, though, like from all your matchups, in terms of regionals coming up, you had 3 losses and 1 win.
No, I won game 1 against Trevor and Amy. So I had 2 wins, 2 losses.
2 losses. But that's not great though, because overall, like you did go on to like win majority of your matches, but
That's what I said at the end. It's like, apparently I can win a best of 3s, you know?
apparently.
Yeah, best of 1s. It's a 50-50.
Honestly, with the way I was drawing today, my best of ones are not going great.
I won all my first rounds.
Also, looking at my results, I misremembered my loss today. So at the end of today's locals, I was saying my only loss was Shiro.
How's it going?
Actually, it wasn't. I beat Shiro. My only loss today was Red Bastion on Shine. It honestly shocked me.
Yeah.
And honestly, the biggest reason where I lost, there was nothing I could do. I was playing Magna X today, because I decided, giving Pillager a break in case EX7 wasn't legal for us today, because technically not meant to legally play till tomorrow. So just in case our shop owner's tournament organizer was like, nope, it's not going to be legal, I couldn't be bothered changing Pillager around, so I'm going to take Magna, and I kind of set in stone.
How's the X antibodies?
It's great. But I kind of got into a scenario where, like, I had no out. So I was sitting on Magna X, and obviously had no protection. I had no way to give him protection. And, like, this was in game 3 against him. And it's like, I can swing at security. He had 1 security left. It's like, if I hit that, I trigger, I unsuspend. And then I swing for game. The problem is, I watched him search the burst earlier, the ace. So I knew he had it.
Yeah.
And he had exactly enough tamers to DP minus me. So I'm like, sorry, he had 2 on board, so it's like, if he's got 1 in hand, I'm dead. And all I could sit there and pray for was like, he's going to drop the ace. He's going to. I just have to hope he doesn't have another tamer. And this is Shine. we're
Yeah.
talking about.
To be fair,
He's
he
probably
struggled-
got a tamer.
In fairness, in the game against me, he struggled to find them, so...
I never saw him.
But so I go swing, and he goes ace, and I'm like, okay. Please just say that's it, and I'm gonna get -10, and we'll be sitting on like 2,000, and hopefully not hit a Digimon attire. Play a tamer. There we go. And just went to lose the game from there, and I lost to old school Shine. It was
Was that game one?
that was game 3 against them.
Oh, okay.
But all the thing is, apart from my final game against Ben, every game went to round 3 with me. Like it was all tough. Biggest accomplishment though, like
Where did you finish today?
I finished 3rd place.
You finished third.
So I got the 2nd highest out of us 4. But yeah, so game 1 I was against Shine. Game 2 I was against Omnizu with Shiro.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting him to have that.
Yeah.
That was the last thing I was expecting.
See, when because he sent that photo of his 3 Omni decks the other day to us, and I couldn't figure out what that, because I knew he had Royal Knights, he had the Omni DNA. I couldn't figure out what
that boy-
Omni
that-
Zord was.
That
boy,
Now I know what it
that
is.
boy was cooking when he came up
He
with
was,
that.
but literally, like, sat against him and stuff, and he goes, "Okay, hatch," and he hatches mother. I'm like, "What shenanigans are we on? What the hell is this?" And then he just goes, "Cost a free Shoto, cost a
Yeah.
sticks, drop one of the
Dark Masters.
one of the Dark Master level 5 people,"
Yeah.
and I'm just like, "Oh."
Shiro's been cooking.
Oh no! And I'm not from that point onwards. The entire match, I'm sitting there wishing in my head like, I wish I was an Impieldra.
Yeah.
Impieldra has so many
would've
answers
been
against
good.
this, and Magna, I just don't know if I have any. And that was the first time, like in my entire time, I was like, sitting in my head, like the entire time without actually doing the match. In my head, like, oh, Magna can beat Lumus, no problem, gets to 16. Yeah, I guess the 16 after a check security, but I'm gonna get that security check.
Yeah.
Well, you have like blinding ray and stuff.
Yeah, I've got blinding range stuff, but it's just like, I've got to have them is the thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just don't know what I'm doing. And ultimately, it all came down to one of the best plays I've ever done, where I just had that much memory. I sat there with like 3 blue men boosts on field. I think I had a memory set of Davis, potentially. If not, I had 2 of the other Davises that gain a memory. And it put me high enough to the point where I just didn't
You
need
had
to do it.
1 tamer and 3 memory.
Was it?
I saw it.
But yeah, either way, he put me high enough to the point where I didn't need to use up every memory boost. And I had like blinding ray and stuff in hand, and I just looked and I went, right, okay. First thing I want to do for the cost 2, final Zubagon punch my Magna X. So that way, my Magna X is now sitting at 16. It's got the +1 security check. It's got reboot and stuff, and it gives it to the line. It doesn't have to stay black or anything like that. It just gives it to the line. So my line's now got +1 security check, +3k. Like, okay, next thing. Activate Blinding Ray. Trash top security, gain 2 memory. The 2 memory we've just spent for Final Zuba. Activate Magna's effect. He's now immune to everything. Trash enough memory boosts to go up to 6 memory at least. Spend all of it. Digivolve to Paladin mode. Swing and Paladin mode, bottom deck 1 thing, unsuspend. And it's just like, this is now a Paladin mode, and because of how Omnizu worked, it just board went very wide, and I took away all the sources. And it's like, you've got 2 blocker mothers there, but I now have a Paladin mode that's got like through 4, 5 things I can bottom deck to unsuspend. This is sitting on 22k or something like that. It was on 2 checks,
23.
and I was just swing. Bottom deck that, unsuspend. And eventually, like, it was to the point where if everything worked out, you would have had 1 mother left, so you could still play. What didn't help, one of the checks I did was the Omnimon that has the security of play itself, so it gave me another body to
there's
bottom
more
deck.
to feed.
Yeah, so it gave me another body to bottom deck for another swing for attempt for game, so he had to block with his last mother. And at that point, he's like, the game's yours, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, because he didn't even have a mother in the back hatched yet.
From there, I went against Argo and his Impieldra, and Magna was just in full force. I was god-handing. Like, this is when the X antibodies were coming up big time.
Non-trashable X antibody.
And it was just like, literally every time Argo was ready to do his big move, or he had an ace clearly ready for me or something, I'm just like, swing! And you could see him ready, like, ha, ha. Trigger X antibody, Digivolve to Magnet X, unsuspend. He just couldn't do
Pure
anything.
defeat.
And like legit, like you get to the point where like he could survive that turn. It comes to the next turn, like right, okay, I've got the Magnet X this time. Raise the rookie for the cost of 2. Digivolve the Flamedramon swing, declare raid, add that to hand, make Magnet protected again. It was just he couldn't. I was in perfect scenario Magnet every time. He just couldn't touch it, and I ultimately took
But
that.
that was not Magnet as well.
What was your 4th matchup?
I was against Ben and
Hybrid.
I Red Hybrid, and I absolutely like got handed to the point where I sped through security like in a space of like 10 minutes, and I know that deck can be troublesome. And then game 2, he was going down a line of play of thinking, and when I reminded him that my Magnet's unaffected because he was in that state, he was like, "Nope, I've messed up. Then it's your game." It was just okay, it's over. It's like it happens though. We did some practice things before the locals today, and it was pretty tight games at that point. Red Hybrid versus Magna, so I know his deck can take Magna and it can take games. Like we literally got to a game 3 in practice, but there just wasn't enough time before locals began, and it was just like its deck just didn't work as well as it wanted it to, and my deck just did everything it wanted to, and it just kind of I was in full control the entire time. It's one of those things where it's like where kind of you had it today type thing where you just feel like your deck fails you. That was like my game versus Ben. That was Ben in the scenario. Like his deck just he knows it can do better, it just didn't want to. And like we both knew that. Like it wasn't the fact of like, oh, I just outskilled you. It's just we both know this deck can do better.
I want to say the hybrids were scary today. There was two red hybrid players, Ben and Eddie, and then yourself, Trevor, on blue. And like hybrids are scary because they can just come out from nothing really. Because like,
but that's like what Chiro said. Like you can leave them on basically 2 memory, and they can go from a tamer to a level 6 swinging into your face.
This is the thing I said to Ben, and I said this at the end of our match. The thing is, because I know his deck can do better, it's like, against a lot of other decks out there, when my Magna's in that invulnerable state, I feel protected. I don't feel like there's gonna, like, as long as I've got security and stuff, I feel like it's fine. I've got this, I've got answers, there's no way they're gonna help me. Against hybrids though, I never feel safe. I always feel like
I get that as well.
it's like they're ready to explode at any moment.
Well, I mean, that leads to the point with me versus Argo in game 2, flipping the Paladin mode, bottom deck his own, got the 3 memory back. I had to do some funky shenanigans with hybrids just to get the game.
That's the thing. So one thing in my game against Argo, he threw away game 1 too quickly. Because he was like, oh, I've got Paladin mode and stuff, and he was ready to do it, and it's like, oh, bottom deck and trash wouldn't matter because you've still got game and stuff. And like, I was sitting there shuffling up, and I was sitting there, and I was like, no, it would have mattered. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you would have stolen turn, I wouldn't have got the second attack. Why would I have stolen it? You security checked my Paladin mode, it was sitting in my trash.
I did hear you say that, funny enough.
It's like, you could have bottom decked my trash, gained the free memory, and stolen turn from me.
But like,
he gave up the game too quick.
Yeah.
It was the same when he was against me. I did something stupid when he got that 3 memory back because he left me in such a weird position. So
I watched it, yeah.
I can't remember exactly how I did it, but like it was like I got enough memory to go over my other tamer to swing.
You essentially, I think you hammer sparked to gain like 1 memory. Or no, you gained a memory from your tamer inheritable. And you basically had enough memory to play out a Pokemon. You bounced the Paladin mode. That's what it was.
Oh, that
you gained 9.
That was it. It was like because he went Paladin mode, he gained the 3, he put me in 0. I sat and thought for ages, and it was like Paladin and Fighter, and I was like, cost a 2 option card, grab back this, hard play the Ancient, bounce that, inflict or get the overflow 9, and then did you also?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the most scariest thing in playing in Pilgrim. Obviously, I'm taking a Pilgrim to regionals and stuff, and it's just like the most scariest thing is when you're in that moment of like, when you're going Paladin mode, it's normally over a fighter, and your most common fighter is the ace. So it's like, if this doesn't pay out,
that's a heavy
that's an overflow 9 just
that's
sitting there.
Yeah. What was the rest of your matchups like?
Well, mine, flipping. Well, Argo was round 1. Flipping game 1 was absolutely horrible. After Mulligan, hand didn't work. I had to fast turn about 3 turns in a row. Like, literally just go, you go to 3, I can't pass the turn with my hand. Flipping, who was game 2? I think game 2 was Eddie and Red Hybrids. It was.
It was a hybrid.
I won game 1 pretty convincingly. Digimon Emperor kept them in the ground.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the thing about Red Hybrids though. Digimon Emperor is not as good against them as the Red base Blue because they can still Digivolve into their level 4s over the flames. Very, very scary on that. Game 2 against Eddie was very scary. He pretty much had me until he hit Hammer Spark at the last security check, passing the turn. He had the memory boost and he didn't pop it.
I mean, I've been in those scenarios.
I know,
so
but
I've had a memory boost. And the thing is, the amount of times you sit there against a deck that can run to like Hammer Spark, Jack's Ray, and you don't even forget it. You sit there and think about it for a brief moment of like, they could run it. I should pop this for safety. But then you have to think for the rest of your battle strategy. And while you're thinking about the rest of your battle strategy, you forget about that potential. So it was like, right, the battle strategy is a go, and you forget about that safety you need.
Well, that was it. So that let me win that round 2-0. But, like, honestly, if he had just popped that, I probably couldn't have stolen the turn from there. Which would have led to his win and we would have gone to game 3. But then after that was Shine with the new stuff.
Yeah, that was Lara.
I literally, game 1, absolutely ran through her. Literally, everything just came up perfectly in the line. Game 2 went into a massive slugfest where Crimson Blaze came up like 3 times. I used it to remove Geogray and the Tamer.
No wonder she was hating. I would have hated life. I hate her.
Honestly, like, without Crimson Blaze, I feel that game would have been very much lost.
Didn't Crimson Blaze also came up in your game against Argo?
Once I believe, like, it's one of them things, like, because unfortunately it has like a side effect for blue hybrids, which is quite good. So if they're all low levels and they have one big line and a high level,
but then you
get the Crimson Blaze, remove all of those, and then you can bounce their highest, which is the unfortunate side effect, but it's kind of cool.
I didn't even think of that.
But yes, took that 2-0, and then I say we've already heard about the last game.
It was a difficult. Game 1 was difficult. Game 2 was like slightly easier, but I think that's just because I saw everything.
Game 1 as well was a problem because Digimon Emperor came down on my side so early, and then the second Digimon Emperor came down on my side.
Yeah, that was the thing. Game 2, I got the 2 Digimon Emperors.
Yeah, you got the 2 Digimon Emperors. Like, even when you had the 1, I had the memory
even
to
Game 2, you still got Digimon Emperors.
Yeah, Game 2 I still got 1, but
yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that's another thing that needs looked at the minute, and I didn't think it until, like, these games where me and Adam were playing. I was like, literally neither of us can race without losing 4 memory right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Digimon Emperor, like, I've said this for a while, like, Ugo was not, like, Ugo brought Digimon Emperor back into people's eyes, but, like, just with Ugo, like, just the one of them being gone doesn't mean Digimon Emperor became any less good.
I feel the Gabumon version would have been so good, but unfortunately it lost the speed because of Louis. But, like, having the way to avoid the Digimon Emperors with your own mats, when you raise a Gabo, get a memory, draw, and like...
That's why Yuji is in mine, because that's essentially what he is.
But like, unfortunately with the red, you lose that because you can't run blue base here a wee bit on the screen. But yeah, Digimon Emperor is something I feel probably does need to go.
It definitely is, though. I have to wonder, though, like, would people still run it if, like, Uko was Digi?
I think they would.
Yeah,
because...
I love Digimon Emperor.
Yeah.
Living embodiment, Lumus.
She was loving it before it was a thing.
Yeah, I've always had it.
I mean, holding your phone back for a turn in and of itself is bad.
How, like,
especially how I left you on 1 memory after playing that Digimon Emperor.
It's bad. Like, here's the thing about Digimon Emperor. Like, you don't even have to think about how many start of main effect Digimon there are now, like rookies, like Luga, like all of the BT 14-15 stuff. Like, there's a lot of them, but like you don't even have to take that into consideration. Like, how many times have you wanted to like hold off digivolving in the back to get your wind digivolving effects of your level 4s and stuff
But
like that?
as well,
Yeah.
I feel like on playing the red base boy hybrids, sometimes I feel like I'd rather be in blue base for that exact reason of the Digimon Emperor.
See, if anything, I would say Digimon Emperor's changed how I play in the back now. Like, I've stopped caring about level 4 Digivolve effects.
The issue
Certain
you
decks
have,
rely on them. Mine does.
the
I
issue
can
you
tell
have
that.
as well though, like if you're running Zuko's and relying on like your level 3s being the main key part of your deck or strategy, Digimon Emperor shuts you down so hard.
See,
I mean, you can run up to 4 of them,
I
my
don't
boys.
care if I can like hold off your opponent from doing something for a turn is amazing. Like it's the same with Shoto. Like it adds an amazing blocker out on your field immediately to start game. Really
I just feel.
On top of that, Digimon Emperor is also a draw.
Why do I just feel like the next deck Amy's gonna play is gonna be like it's running 4 Shoto, 4 Digimon Emperor, 4 of the guy from Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, like,
Yes.
level 3.
Then all my decks are just like, no, sorry.
Look,
can't do
this is
It's completely
that-
off.
Amy's next deck is just what you want to play Digimon. Well, you're gonna pay tax. Or something.
This is Amy.
Can't reduce play cost, can't reduce the evolution cost, can't reduce.
No,
Can't give memory
Play
except
level
I give her
5.
max.
This is Amy's journey to security control. I don't know if you know.
No, it's not security control. It's deck control. I
Yeah,
own your
ev-
deck, guys.
Yeah, just everything.
Well, while we're on the subject,
Oh, Amy.
what deck were you playing? And how did you?
I
match
was
this deck?
playing Machinedra. I got 2 draws, 1 loss, and a bye. First game was against Meg.
What was that? Shiro?
Shiro.
Shiro.
Yeah.
Mega Zoo, Omni Zoo, same
It
thing.
was a lot because we were playing level 5s. We
I
had
played
another
this much memory. I played this much memory.
we had another Shoto off, and my only win con against it was I was deleting his Shotos.
Here to be for Timber Deletion.
Yeah.
What they're there for.
To be fair, that's what you kept saying to me. Like the biggest thing about that deck was like, oh, there's so much Tamer deletion. And I was like, none of it came up because he didn't need it against me.
Yeah.
Like my Tamers do nothing. Like gaining memory.
That's something I wish I could have played against Shiro's deck today to see what it was
It
like.
was so fun.
We would
And
avoid
me
that.
and we were like proper back and forth because we were like deleting each other's things, and then obviously I have
We also
so many
avoided them.
redirects. Like I have so many redirects, so many blockers in my deck, and he's got so many things I want to attack, and I'm just like,
That's another thing about Machindra that's really scary, though. It's not just the blocks, especially with Mother Shotos. It's not just the blocks. You have redirects on top of that.
yeah,
It's like,
That's why I think my deck does pretty well against Machinedra though, because Collision gets
you want
past
to switch.
redirects because Collision still always has to take place in block timing. So like it's just like, okay, you can redirect all you like, it doesn't matter. You still have to block with something at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the funny thing is you say, like, with against Shiro's deck for you and stuff, it was like his deck wanted to attack, so his deck also has so many answers if you do attack him because it was level 5s, like, he's running Bikemon aces, Mega Gargomon ace, he's running,
Is he running Valk?
no, not Valk, he's running Cherubi ace,
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
it's all the double colored power cards, basically.
but yeah, it's just like all these very high powerful level 6 aces when he plays those level 5s, it's like, okay, if that level 5 sticks on the board, he's got an ace, he can use it. If not, he's got end of turn, I'll delete it and put a machine drum on at the back of
That's
some
another
raid.
thing. The Cherubi,
Machinedra was my downfall. Ironically,
Machinedra was the downfall of Machinedra.
So what we're saying it really is Mother Shoto is what you
D-Digivolve is hard. D-Digivolve is hard.
because like Machinedra doesn't have protection against D-Digivolve at all. Like it can D-Digivolve everything else, no problem. But whenever it came against Machinedra, okay, D-Digivolve too. Okay, there's my Chaos and Machinedra gone, and you're deleting my level 5 that's right underneath. And there was a one time that he did it, but I put a Chaos underneath at the bottom source, so he basically went down to a Chaos, and he swung into the Chaos because it was swing, and he didn't realize it was there.
To me, honestly,
It
like,
was so fun.
it does sound kind of scary talking about that, like, even, like, from your point of view, that sounds scary. But I was gonna say, the Cherubi is on top of it, like, that lets him play Dark Masters, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it just gets the on play.
Well, it's not even
honestly,
that.
sorry.
It's not even just that. Like he digivolves into I don't know if it's Omni's Water or Zort Defeat. one of them, he mills so many cards on top of his deck, but then he can play out 2 cards up to a certain play cost or whatever.
That's how that's work.
And it's just like he kept doing that.
It's up to play cost 8.
Yeah.
2 play cost 8.
Yeah, and it's just like he kept doing that to like board and wide and stuff.
Honestly.
And the thing is, the Digimon he's playing, obviously they've got on-play effects, so then it's more searching. And it's like, okay, I want to keep one of these for an ace, I'm going to pop the other one to put a Dark Master in my breeding. It's just like...
I'm gonna be honest, that sounds like the downfall of that deck. Like, the good thing about Mother Shoto is, like, you can just keep raising mothers. But, like, if you're having to keep your breeding area open so you can do all your Dark Master things, like... It sounds like
like a few times.
I'll be honest, like, he had, like, a good balance, honestly, against me. Like, Mother was staying on the board, and, like, if he had to, like... Essentially, if he knew he wasn't going to go into a Dark Master, I think he was hatching into Mother, like, knowing it didn't, like, wait a turn.
Yeah.
And if the breeding was open every time he needed to like pop and put a Dark Master.
I think he purely just keeps Sari as like a blocker, like, if you know what I mean, just like as something there to stall you off for a bit while he does his big plays.
I mean that's the whole point of Mother Shoto. It's what's the biggest thing.
It works so well as a good balance.
The thing is, Mother Shoto, like, my only problem with the idea of the combo is Mother's unaffected by everything, and it's just like if it was affected in some way. It's just
actually all your opponents, isn't it?
It's all your opponents.
Why Shoto works.
It's why Shoto works, and it's just like it's the reason why decks are playing it though. Is because it's a matter of like, okay, turn 2, I have this big 15k blocker that's unaffected by any of your effects. So if you want to get over it, be bigger. And it's just like, oh, I'll just have more bodies to swing.
Or you just become unblockable.
I have a thing we need to come back to. But so round 2, you were against me. We know how that went. Round 3, who you were against?
Was against Ben on hybrids. It was okay.
How your blood begins to play on red now.
Yeah. There's a difference. It's the fact that anytime I play something, I'm giving him so much memory. So then it's like, oh yeah.
That is the one good thing about Mishindra when you're on hybrids, you have the memory.
Also the deletion, the fact of like DP equal or less than the Digimon, that was really getting me at some points because I couldn't keep things out because he was obviously getting it for really cheap. But he was also making like quite a few mistakes, but I was just letting him go because I was more just enjoying the game at that route.
That's fair.
Like I was just having fun with it. But first game he gave up really quickly. I feel like I did get Machine Dry, and he did say, oh yeah, but once Machine Dry's out, like it's sort of sucked there, and I'm like, I don't know, but like I haven't really done
anything that's going to like be.
See, I did have Collision in line and 3 Trash when Digimon saluted and Pierce. So like I understand.
Guys, it's okay. I don't really. It's not really over. I've only got Machindra, but I also have 3 Trash and Security and
Pierce Collision.
Pierce Collision. You know.
But like so.
Yeah, to be fair, I've always believed you never know what the fuck you could hit security.
Yeah, because like
that's the thing. Like as long as there's security, like end of the day, obviously when we play against each other so much, we know each other's decks almost inside of them. To the point where we can just simply know, and it's a little unfair compared to like a tournament standard, where it's like, oh, you've got 2 security left, I've got 3 rookies. I know your deck well enough to the point where I can just go swing, and that's it, game over. Yeah. Where in a tournament standing, you wouldn't know.
You never know.
You
there
would never know
Crimson,
that like. Okay, there's been a slight cut. We had some food and stuff arrive. Food's been devoured, so we're back now. We can't remember the last thing we were talking about. We know it's something involving Machindra. But, yeah. I know I was mid-sentence.
We were just finishing off talking about, like, her 3rd round stuff against Red Hybrids.
It was about not surrendering based on security cards, I believe.
Oh, yes, that was it. I remember the example I was going to give now. Yes, we were talking about stuff like, about not knowing builds, where we constantly would go to attention.
That's what
I was going to use Machindra as an example. So, like, example of Machindra, like, so, knowing your Machindra pretty well, and how a lot of Machindras are built, it's pretty easy to tell. Like, there won't be, say, for example, on Crimson Blades.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty. You'd feel pretty.
Although we've discussed it. We've discussed it.
Yeah,
We wanted it in.
I know you've discussed it, but I think if sitting there going how a typical Machindra deck is built, you'd sit there and feel pretty confident there isn't a Crimson Blaze in that.
Yeah.
So at that point, you'd sit there in yourself, you'd feel safe. Go, okay, I'm going to swing because there's going to be no Crimson Blaze. boom, because this person decided they want a Crimson Blaze, and you've hit Crimson Blaze, that's changed your entire strategy. So, like, that's the big thing going to tournaments.
No.
Everyone's got their own little personal text, their own personal taste, that it's not easy as just going, they're on Machindra, they're on Dexter, they're on Pildra, this is how the deck is built, and that's how they're playing it. It's, everyone's got their own little personal flares.
Yeah, I mean, the better example, dude, is last week when I was playing against Argo. And he's playing his Imperial Joke because he plays it all the time, doesn't stop. And he just at one point goes, Heaven's Judgment?
I watched him put it in that way as well.
Know what? As well? I registered he did that, went, okay, that cool, sucks. Right. Game 2, I then hit Insecurity, and it minuses 12k on my thing, and it kills it. I was on Eosmon, and it died in the second check. It was like 18k, so it died in the second check. And then it took me a solid minute after the Eosmon died to go, wait, hold on, you put Heaven's Judgment in Imperial Digimon? Like, I know I've seen it twice now, but it's only actually registered in my brain that that card should not, like, it's not typically in that deck.
It was almost as good as when we...
But the word you use there, typically.
Yeah.
It was almost like when we were testing as well, and I was sitting and you were like, oh, Blue Hybrids, we know every card in it, we help them build it. I swing. Last Digivolve Imperial Digimon? You were just like, wait, what?
I didn't think you had it.
But no, it's just like, this is what I mean though, like, especially going into like this regionals and stuff, it's just like, just because like from the moment you see the egg, you get an idea of the deck, you get an idea of builds, but immediately you've got to think of like the colours that comes with the deck, what tech cards could they be running, and that immediately makes you think of more things, what's in security, and it's going to be so much more cautious because it is a best of one, like every move's going to matter. But it is just that prime example, like I say, the biggest advantage we have with practicing against each other constantly is just we know each other's decks inside and out. We know when it's normally safe to swing, when it's not. If we keep an eye on the searches and stuff, as like prime examples against my Magna, if you see double Heavens go to the bottom, well, you know
double Crimson Blaze going to the bottom.
Yeah, at that point you know it's not. There's none of them in security whatsoever. It's normally pretty safe to just go rookie rush essentially on security at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just like, but that's the advantage that comes from playing each other, practicing as each other constantly. And sometimes it can put us in a slump at times where it's just like, oh, because we've all played tests against each other much, we know how each other plays. To the point where it's like, right, well, I know how to counterplay all you. I win with a Pildra 24/7. I'm not saying I do,
He wishes.
He likes to play
Witches.
it.
I like to wish, yeah. But no, it's just like to give an example type thing. It's like, oh, I say I win every game and stuff, and everyone's like, oh, and Pildra's like, I just can't win against Pildra. It's like, well, not necessarily. It's not a matter you can't win against a Pildra. It's you can't win against me on a Pildra because I'm used to playing against you.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
You and Chris play it completely different.
I feel like I went down to Chris's last night, or Argo's last night, funny enough. I played against it. I played against the Pildra. Very rarely lost. Went against it today and just absolutely got demolished. And he didn't change anything. I didn't change anything.
Yeah, it's the type of thing. I mean, another thing of builds and stuff, like using Pildra example, is like some people really like the new BT17 tamer. I can see the like for it, but I just personally, I can't see justifying in it.
It's just too cost heavy.
Yeah.
Like, even with the new option card being able to play a tamer for free, like if it's hidden security, it's still just too costly. Like a 5 cost memory setter.
In Shine.
But in Shine, it's alright because at least you're gaining them. Like, they put that 5 cost in
memory back.
That's
because
what
they
you
had the plus. But they had the +1 memory built in, that's why they gave the 5 cost. I don't know why they put the 5 cost on that new tamer.
Realistically, there was no need to put the 5 cost on.
Honestly, the only reason...
the Shine one to begin with, because the Shine one played it for free anyway.
No, but there was because it had the plus memory.
Yeah.
That's why they did it.
I mean, I'd rather than
so that you weren't getting
honest.
so you weren't getting a 3 cost memory setter.
But no,
that was the reason.
To be honest, like the 5 cost tamer from Pildra, like it does a lot. Like if the line would die, I think it's die anyway. I don't think it's just
die by battle.
Is it just by battle?
It might be. It might be deletion. It might be
But yeah,
specifically
but anyway,
deletion.
it lets you partly partition a level 4 without needing.
It's essentially what decode's going to be in the future.
But yeah, but it's just like essentially. This is one of the things that also funny in my matchup against Argo today. One of the things that messed him up 2, maybe 3 times he had to digivolve with the lightning DNA. He had to go from level 4 to level 5.
Oh, that's never what you want.
And like, obviously it's not what you want, and it was really harsh. So it's just like...
The first 2 DNAs he did against me were non-partition, the Elders.
No, the pile just came up against me. Type thing, but no, it was just like, one of those things where like, it's rough when Pyldra has to hard digivolve.
That's something.
Now, don't get me wrong, he did get off slightly good, because he was digivolving over, off the memory gain XP and stings. So he was getting that, so he was digivolving for less, because he was getting memory back. And he had Davis and Ken to tap to get memory. So he was digivolving into a level 5 for the cost of 2. So he did have that going.
I know.
Yeah,
but,
just in case you were looking at him like a bit confused there.
Yeah.
Bewildered.
No, I had mental math going on in my head.
But, so he did have that side of things going, but even then, when Pildra's not DNAing into level 5, they've got it rough.
That's something as well. Anytime I saw Argo's board today, I never once saw anything partition in his line. Like, ever. And I don't know if I was just looking at the back.
I think you were just getting the bad moments, yeah.
But, like, it felt like, okay,
I feel
he's
like
not seeing these
when he went to the partition ones, a lot of the time he was in such control, the partition didn't matter.
Yeah.
The issue, though, and it is something I felt with Tilda a lot, giving them partition, jamming, and apparently deletion, battle deletion or something with a 5-cost tamer. Like,
I mean, we've gone through it. They have 30 effects in the deck.
But they have built-in jamming. They can't die in battle.
Yeah.
Jamming, piercing, memory gain, DNA, reduced cost, playing Digimon for free, searching for nothing, end of turn DNA, blast Digivolve,
DNA's always got
Digivolve off when your opponent plays or Digivolves by an
yeah, well that's it. Like, they just have everything.
Source
and they're so protected as well.
Partition.
Like the partition, if they have no fear about swinging the security now. This is what I was trying to say. Because jamming, they don't care if they hit a big Digimon. They have jamming.
They don't care if they had.
They don't care if they had an option which deletes
partition.
them or removes them because they have partition. And if they partition, they're literally going +2 memory for them.
They don't need any defensive options in the deck because every part of their deck either locks your opponent's board, strips sources,
or
just removes it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, as a build, I know it's completely unfair, and the thing is, at most builds, when you say about defensive options, at most these days, typically you maybe see 1 gig a day.
To be fair, I feel like the 2-cost Digivolve as well, like option, like it can blocker as well.
Oh, you mean the 3-cost?
Sorry, 3-cost, yeah.
One thing I will say about the option cards that's a bit different compared to like a lot of other option cards that came from BT17 and stuff. So a lot of the BT17 option cards, including Pildra's one that they got as kind of ties in with the 16 one you're on about, whereas like a lot of them have the kind of effect of, if you've got something that this deck typically does, ignore color requirements. Or that deck's got very easy access to the color requirements. Impildra only gets access to their dual colors at level 5, so the DNA.
That's wrong. You have your double.
You've got your tamer, but it's not always there because of its heavy memory thing. I can say this because I've been in the situation many times, especially with the option cards you're on about, where it's just like
against you, Lemmy. You're saying this, but like I use you as an example. When I play against you, normally your first move is Digivolve cost 2, Digivolve 4-cost tamer.
I feel like that's so easy to get around by the fact that as long as you have something in the back, whether it's like blue or green, you just need something in the front that's the opposite. Like, it's not that difficult to get the
No, it's not that difficult, but you don't plan for that at times, where it's like, for example, like...
But to be fair, when you're using that option as well.
But when you're using it, what I'm saying is, like, prime example, right? So, the situation I've been in when using the BT16 one, where I went like XV in the back, because that's the level 4 I've had. I'm searching for a Stingmon.
Yeah.
So and then at which point, the only tamer I've got on board is a Davis, because it's a memory set and I'm trying to search.
Yeah.
At that point, I've got blue.
Yeah.
Now, there's any other option that came out of BT17, they would say their option would normally say if you have like a free Digimon trait, ignore color requirements.
At least it does. Yeah.
Do you want? But in Pildra's, there's nothing like that. You have to get your blue and your green.
Then again, when you're using that option though, you're already on level 5. Now, You can't tell me.
Nine times out of 10.
On the 17 one, yes. I'm on about like the 60 on the BT16 one that you're on about and stuff. Not on the BT16 one, you want to be.
Yeah, I get the BT16, but that's why you changed to the BT17 ones.
Well, I've personally changed it to BT17 ones because of Mother Shoto. So my plan is, instead of trying to get up a line that can't be battle as a one-off type of option card, just running more of the 17 ones, so that way I can go swing with Impildramon. They go block with Mother, and I go, right, trash the option card so he doesn't die, and I'll get to my next line up then. Waste your block, get a further in my line.
I feel like, though, it is just, like, it's too much. Like, I mean, at the same time, when you look at older decks, I was going to say, when you look at older decks, though, like, Machindramon's a prime example. Protection about being bounced and deleted, I believe.
And the X11 can't
But they can
be
still...
reduced.
Yeah, but they can still be returned to security. They used to be able to be DP reduced until that new one came out.
No, it was the EX11. The first one couldn't be DP reduced.
Okay, sorry. Well, okay, yeah, it couldn't be DP reduced. But, like, as I'm saying, you still have options in, like, returning to security, you have chaos decks.
Return to deck.
Return deck. Like, it feels like you just have protection of everything in Impildra.
Oh no, I mean, there's a reason why it's one of the top decks.
Look at Greymon and the Belga. No,
I understand. Arguably, right now, we could easily say, without putting a definite thing of what is the current as the best deck right now, it is between you and me. Like, it's either Ancient.
It's not between me and you. I don't know. I just become a
lot of people say Ancient Guru is the best deck.
I think this is what it is though with Ancient Garurumon. The worst part of Ancient Garurumon isn't like actually anything to do with the line. It's the fact that by the end of your turn, you don't have a board anymore.
Well,
you get rid of your own board, and I can't actually interact and stop you doing anything.
That can be useful.
It's always useful,
but
especially when you're playing
sometimes though you want to keep the presence, to keep the pressure. It just depends on the matchup.
I feel like
I was just losing my voice as I said that.
Trevor had a second puberty.
That was not a voice filter. That was actually. No, but like, the thing is with like Ancient Guru, like, there's been so many times where I'm looking like at an Imperial board or something, where I'm like, okay, I need to do this to interact with that. I need to force that to swing. I need to de-digivolve that. Okay, I need to do this, this, and this. That's how I remove this board, remove the problems. Looking at an Ancient Guru board at the end of your turn is like looking at like a desert. It's like, okay, it's like a mirage. It's like I've lost.
I'm playing Mirage Guru.
Not Mirage Gagabon, but like it's like a desert mirage. We're
playing Mirage Guru.
It's like, okay, I've just lost 3 security. Half my board's gone, but they only have a tamer on board. How did this happen? Where's it gone?
You said it's hit runs back.
Yeah, and it's like I can digivolve up my line and like spend the memory to like pop your tamer, which sometimes works out. Like it did in one of our games today, because I kept popping your blue tamer because you weren't getting that many. But there's some times where you have like 4 blue tamers on the board, and there's no point in me digivolving on my turn to pop it. But there's also no point in me waiting to your turn, because I can't. There's nothing to force to attack and steal turn.
In my game against Ellie, to be fair, he hit for like 3 to 4 security checks in one hit, and he hit 4 tamers.
Every time I allianced into your security, I hit at least 1 tamer. I'm like, I've just deleted a tamer, and then I'm like, okay, I feel safe. He has nothing. Swing, alliance, first check, tamer.
The tamer's back.
That's all my hard work gone. I've just spent like 7 memory here to get rid of that thing, so you didn't have anything. I've just given it right back.
So like in practice as well.
I feel like
you'll pop my dual tamer. Like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. Rid of this. You can't have this advantage. Swing at security. Oh look, he's back.
I love the fact that you did do that. Like, you controlled the memory so well that it took me to. Your board was already unstoppable in that last game.
Yeah, it was difficult though. Like, it was.
But you'd help me so low a memory, and then on top of that, you kept deleting the one tamer, even though you were
Yeah.
replacing it. It was never a memory center tamer. It was always the unblockable, which
Yeah.
didn't help because he was leaving me one memory.
The amount of times as well that I kept staring at like your Louis or your Digimon Emperor, I'm like, or like you had 2 Digimon Emperors, I'm like, I could pop one of those right now and make myself have an easier time in future turns, or pop Koji.
Yeah, Koji's always.
It's like, yeah, Digimon Emperor's annoying, but like right now, if I keep popping the Koji, you're not gonna remove my lines.
It's why I feel so annoyed. Although blue hybrids is better, hybrids, theirs just seems so much stronger. One, they have 3 tamers to begin with to choose from,
Yeah.
but they also, on the one where they put stuff underneath, it lets them use Emperor Grey. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lets them use Emperor Grey, which is more effective as well because they get to use their trash. With blue, you have to use them from your hand.
So it just
So you don't have the
it
access
just
to
kind of
mine
turns
that-
off that
Have their
effect.
pros and cons though.
Well, it's not even
That is true.
like, so like the other thing as well is like the ancient Greymon and stuff. It's just like they've got Raid to come into you with PSE, gets ridiculous IDP, and then do multiple jets.
Yeah.
So it's just like
The
it's a weird thing. It's like so Ichiguru, like you deal with the lower bodies, but
you
Ancient
can't
Grey
do
has to
anything about the higher.
Ancient Grey has to deal with the higher because of Raid.
Yeah.
But like, as I say, when the new stuff comes out, it'll be very interesting to see because we get to avoid like end of turn deletions and
Yeah, the end of turn attack and hardball, yeah. To go back to what I brought up earlier, the thing I need to tell you, I was on the simulator a few nights ago, practicing with a build of like your deck of Machine Dramon.
Okay.
So I had like Mother and Shotos. I was just practicing with it. I had about 3 Mothers on board and a Machine Dra stack, and I was playing against Lilithmon, and they used the Lilithmon option card to give all of my Digimon end of turn delete another of my Digimon, or delete one of my Digimon. It's bugged on the simulator at the moment. I don't know if it's fixed or not yet, but the way that effect is meant to work is all of your Digimon that gain that effect is meant to be treated as coming from that Digimon to delete it. So yes, it's your opponent giving your Digimon that effect. So
It's your own
like
Digimon.
if you become immune to your opponent's effects, the effect slides off. Like if like Tyrant becomes suspended or like Magna X protection, like that's meant to slide off. I kind of want to see what would happen if I chose Mother to delete off of like one, because obviously Mother can't be given the effect, but like Mother stuff was. So I was like, choose Mother. And the simulator read that interaction as the option card then trying to delete the Mother, and the Mother couldn't be deleted because my opponent's option card. So they did it like they applied it like 3 or 4 times, because they applied it and then they did like end of attack ones or end of turn ones from like Digivolving to Lilith, and then Lilith re-triggers the option in trash by putting it as a
So
one.
realistically,
So I just kept
selecting
selecting Mother, and then it wouldn't die, and I'm like, I had to do this 12 times. So my opponent, I can only imagine my opponent was sitting there at their desk, at their computer, just going, why isn't this working? This is so bugged.
What you've just admitted to is abusing the product.
Yeah.
But what am I
And
meant to
cheating.
do? What am I meant to do? I'm
To be
sorry.
fair, if it's a rule of the game, might
If
not
it
be
was someone
correct
I knew,
versus-
if it was like I was going up against yourself, I would have been like,
Yeah, you would have been like, mother.
I would have just mother. But like, that's the thing. I can only imagine my opponent going, this is he either knows the ruling and was going in his head of like, this should not be happening, this is a major bug, I hate this, or didn't know the ruling previously, and now he's just going to be confused for the rest of
But it hasn't
like
been ruled
run-
that way.
Yeah,
The-
because that's the ruling with partition. Like, for example, if you're
I
against,
suppose it is your Digimon.
yeah, if you're
right?
against Imperial Dramon's, if you're playing Lilith against Imperial Dramon and you give their partition stack end of turn, delete one of your Digimon, and they choose itself, then partition cannot trigger because
Doesn't
it's
have
their
an
effect.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the way it's
Okay.
been ruled. So like, the idea that I'm choosing Mother to delete off one of my Digimon, because as we know, like you can like delete Mother off your own effects. Like we've done it before to like unsuspend Machinedramon sometimes. It's like that should cause Mother to die. Like there's no reason that those mothers should be on the board.
Wow. Sounds like you abused the system.
I mean, to be fair, like say, the simulator has so many bugs. It's ridiculous. Like so many. Like the thing is, what doesn't help is they have bugs from sets. They'll then release the next set, but the bugs from the old sets are still there. They haven't fixed them yet.
Yeah, they're just
Sometimes, yeah.
layering.
It's because how fast sets are coming out though, and they're trying to like.
Especially when we get to this time of year. Right, let's go on to the subject of kind of regionals and stuff. What are you thinking ratio-wise of decks that are going to be there, and what are you most scared to go against?
We all know my answer. I'm going to go first. Impildra. Impildra.
How much of Impildra do you feel is going to be there?
Honestly, considering how popular and how easy it has probably been to get, like, if you think about it, it gave us a structure deck.
Well, honestly, the
Yeah.
most expensive thing to get into Impildra is the Pyldramons from D16.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like Impildra is very easy accessible. It's not overly difficult to get the cards.
I mean, a prime example of how easy it is to get. Between the demo decks that have been about, random cards from reprints and stuff like that, I literally came to you one day and was just like, look, I want to build Impildra, I just want to give it a shot. At the time, I had no interest in like playing it seriously.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to take it for a locals, can you help me build it? And then you can have the deck. That was the initial thought.
You still got the deck?
By the way, it's mine, right? No, but here's the thing. I had done this twice over in the past. Like, I kept doing this with Impildra to, like, build it and play against, like, Argo, who's the Impildramon player. I was like, okay, I'll build it and beat him with it. And, like, sometimes it happened.
I had the leopard one.
but, like, this is the thing. I kept doing this with Impildramon. So, like, when you said it, I'm like, yeah, I pretty much have everything bar the new stuff that's just released.
Yeah, you literally just brought all the
I'm
stuff.
just like, dude, here, that's it.
And then in the space of what I think it was 3 weeks total, we had like everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
And like the deck's been going since then.
I feel I could feel like at least 70 on Impildra for sure.
You 70%?
Yeah.
That's high.
I know it's high. I feel that it's too easily.
Okay. I'll put it this way. At the regionals we're going to, I'm pretty sure they've sold out of tickets again.
No.
No? There's still a couple left?
I'll double check the site right now just to clarify, but the last I checked, which was maybe yesterday or the day before, both the team tickets and the single tickets were still for sale.
So there's 196 total tickets for the main event, the main regional event.
Okay, actually, that's okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was originally like 120. These two didn't get their tickets,
Don't know
and
what you're
then
talking
they
about.
released extra tickets, and they got
Like
their
you could grab
tickets.
that for us, but he didn't.
So tickets are still available for both.
Okay, so if we're talking about 100,
However,
196 people.
However,
if it sells out.
they did say in a post a couple of weeks back that the tickets are getting really low.
Really
So-
low. So
I would move.
190.
On both events as well. We said the tickets
I would
are getting
move it
really
by
low.
40%. I still think it'll be high. Because it is very easily accessible.
I was honestly gonna say I feel 30% is a nice place.
I think
I would
less. I think
say-
20. But here's the thing. I would have thought
Maybe you just want to say 10 to go with Femi.
40, 30. Here's the thing. Like, in seeing recent results from both, like, was it, like, Europe and, like, parts of North America, like, Imperial Dramon's starting to get lower in how many top spots it's getting, so
It's
I think
because
that's going to affect
People are
people's
banging
views.
Because
ways
people are
to
starting to
get
counter it.
Yeah, so I think people are
I mean, a
starting
prime
to,
example
like,
of
view
what
it less.
people are starting to do now, people are bringing out Leviathan. So
Yeah.
people are playing Leviathan X because it is a pretty good counter to that. Not only the meta as a whole, but it's a pretty big counter to one of the big dogs of the meta being Impildra.
Personally, I think people are going to play Imperial Dramon pretty regularly as well. I think 20-25%. maybe slightly lower. But I also think the amount we see Imperial Digimon is going to dip throughout the day, like as we go on through the day. Like,
Well,
I feel like Imperial Digimon is going to be one of those decks that, because people are expecting it so much, they're going to have planned for it. And most Imperial Digimon players, unless they're really, really skilled, are going to sit around the middle of the rankings for the majority of the day. Like, I think they're going to get condensed in that sort of 80 to like 120 slots, or maybe even 60 to 120 slot of like, there's going to be a large amount of Imperial Digimon players there. And like, beyond those rankings, like 60 above, like a lot more varied decks. Like, yeah, like they're real.
I mean, in a lot of lists that are topping recently in events and stuff, there's always, I think there's been typically at least one builder list in the last few tops and stuff.
But like, for example, like a month and a half ago, there was like 9 in the top 16.
We were fresh in the format and stuff of the ban list and everything. So yeah, I mean, I do feel Imperial Digimon we're going to see a high number of. I think the next, if not the same amount, the next highest amount we're going to see is.
Yeah.
I think Blue Hybrid's the next.
It's been
feel as well. I know Blue Hybrid is going to be high. I think
Blue Hybrid had the most amount of tops in the latest.
Yeah, I was going to say, although I feel it is going to be a lot of it, I think there's going to be some people who have dropped off from Ugo's being hit and Ray being hit.
It was tied, wasn't it?
Maybe
with Levia.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, in terms of the biggest thing I'm worried about going against is just any form of Mother Shuttle combo, because Imperial Digimon just doesn't have a great time with it. Like Imperial Digimon's gonna get.
I'd be happy to hear that.
Imperial Digimon's gonna get certain combo pieces underway to deal with the Mother Shuttle, I feel. Hence why I've been tailing my deck a bit more towards the idea of like, if it does go against Mother Shuttle, we'll have a bit of an easier time.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing about Imperial Digimon as well, though. Like, you kind of have an easier time tailoring to one deck like that, because the actual whole concept and whole deck strategy of Imperial Digimon as a whole is so good and so consistent.
Well, I'll tell
you can slightly,
yeah.
So you can like slightly
it's also
tailor
for
it
the
a
mirror
little bit.
match. So I thought Hexablow for the idea of Mother Shoto. Like, okay, if I can't be bigger initially, because I wasn't thinking of like how can I constantly be just bigger than a mother. It was like, right, I was just like, right then, I'll just deal with. I'll just use Hexablow. We'll compare sources where you have none. So therefore, I will always win this matchup. But then I discovered later, which does make sense. Hexablow is also played for the mirror match. Because obviously the big thing about Impildra at level 5 is, well, it's not even the strippers. No, it's not even the strippers. At level 5, they want to go double swing and Digivolve. Where if I get to my level 5, then I go Hexablow. At that point, they've got to get to level 6 and then a fighter mode on top of that to have more sources than my Hexablow.
That's the swing, isn't it?
So that means they can't even double swing the level 5.
Yeah.
This is obviously the granted the fact that they don't have Davis and Ken and stuff to source.
Well, I still don't know how true that is, because if they get a perfect line, or even a semi-perfect line with the teamer on board, then they just strip your Hexablow sources.
But
that's what I'm saying. Not taking that into consideration.
Yeah.
Like if they're slightly.
I still think the biggest thing about it is just bottom decking their teamer. Like that's the idea, right? You're bottom decking their teamer, so they are less likely to be able to strip your sources. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things you hope to do with the Hexablow and stuff, with the mirror match. I feel like Hexablow is going to be a bit of an underdog, honestly. I feel like there will be some Hexablow decks.
I think it's going to be that Galaxy Mirage Hexa deck. Like,
What,
there's
Dogwalk?
No, not Dogwalk.
Don't have Dogwalk though.
I think that's fallen out of people's minds a bit.
I wouldn't
fingers crossed.
I wouldn't even say it's fallen out of people's minds. It's seeing zero results. Honestly, more of Galaxy Mirage, I think it's called. Not the loop. The one where it's just running the Galaxy pieces with Hexablow and Mirage as the top end.
Yeah.
Like, naturally. I think it's called Galaxy Mirage. I think that's what they call it.
That is one of the two decks that then a guy from another local store around here, it could be playing.
Yeah.
It's either that
That
or
is seeing more results than both Galaxy Loop and Dogwalk.
Yeah.
Dogwalk's honestly been seeing zero topping results. It was scary in the fact that what it could do, a bit degenerate OTK.
It's a bit meme though.
But it's seen zero results. Like I think it's maybe seen 1 or 2 tops in its entire time. So because of that, it's kind of a lot of people maybe that were maybe on the idea of this could be an easy win for a regional side thing, they've kind of came off because
Yeah.
it's not. I think the biggest problem that both variants have is consistency.
Yeah.
Which is something you want for a regional. You want consistency because end of the day you gotta think we're going into this one. There's gonna be like 8 rounds of Swiss without even taking top cut into consideration. And I think for this one it's top cut of 16. So if you go all the way, that's 8. 16 is 9. To top 8 is 10. Top 4 11. And then final match. That's 12 rounds you're playing.
So your deck plays perfectly every time.
Well, I mean, top cut we go to best of 3, but even then, like the biggest thing is to get to that level. It's not even about playing perfectly; it's about playing the perfect average. What can your deck do? You know what I mean? It's like it's not about just making sure it doesn't brick 24/7.
Hi.
That's only today.
That's only today. It is only today.
But that's what I mean. It's like that's what you want your deck to do, consistent. And I think that's where both the Galaxy Loop and Dog Walk failed. Is like they have the consistency for that at the local level. They don't have the consistency for the regional level.
Yeah.
But then that opens the door as well. Does Builder have that consistency?
Well, it gets results.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's that's the issue
It
with
works
Builder.
together
One of
too
the
well.
20,000 issues Builder has
The biggest.
is the fact that it's so bloody consistent.
Here's the biggest thing about Impelder that makes it honestly a problem as a person that finds it, is the fact of on Impelder you can sit there for ages and not do anything, and your opponent could be sitting there wiping through your security. And I've done this personally. They've got me down to like 0 security. It's just like, right, this looks game over. They're still on 5. I'm on 0. It's game over.
Done it against me.
It's game over, right? But if Impelder then goes, "Cool,
You did that yesterday.
time to raise, time to DNA, because I've DNA'd into the BT16 one, stun your entire board, it's now locked down, and from that point they go, I control this game."
Yeah.
Hi, yeah, you did that against me.
Yeah. And it's just like, that's the biggest thing, like, Impelder just has like, even when they don't open perfect-handed or don't get all the pieces, they can sit there and wait, and once the pieces are in rotation, it's hard to stop them. Like, you've got to have an answer built up ready to go. And it's just a matter of, at that point, they start controlling the board so much. And one of the things that really adds to the problems of Impildra is, like, the BT12 Stingmon. It's like it's got piercing on it, so any low body Digimon the opponent has that they've took control over, it's actually like, right, that's suspended, so you can't spend it. At that point, it's like, right, let's control this board a bit more by swinging over these Digimon and piercing for the check with jamming and stuff. And it's just like, it's doing everything at once to the point where it's like, at any given point when the board control they stop controlling the board, they've got the aces to back up on, they've got the dragon modes, they've got the fighter modes, they've got all the answers to kind of go, right, this board's controlled enough now that all my other answers can deal with it.
Okay, apart from Mother Shoto, because I feel like Mother Shoto is like, because it's so simple and so easy to do, I feel like we're all going to be worried about that in a certain way.
He's got, honestly, he's worried.
I have the built-in answer to it.
He's literally got the tamer that says can't be blocked.
And you have tamer deletion as well, like you can just, it's dead.
Dave actually super though. That's what she needs to do.
We're
Right?
worried that.
I mean, the biggest thing for you that makes it worry, so your tamer deletion outside of your newest edition of Grand Quagga, I don't know what that one has to be for its conditions.
It's suspended tamer.
It's suspended tamer.
That's why it's in there.
But I was about to say, like,
that,
your deck's Duro, it has to be unsuspended. And,
Yeah.
and the problem is with Shoto,
It's
it goes
always suspended on my
end of turn, suspend, make something a blocker.
Yeah, so I kind of have to try and delete it on my opponent's turn, which sometimes isn't always possible if they just have a mother. Because I can't force a mother to attack. Like, it's, like, not only, like, it's unaffected by me, it just can't attack. But, like, apart from Mother Shoto, is there anything else you're worried about seeing?
Honestly, it's probably something like Rogue Deck. Like, Levia's kind of scary just because I've had 0 practice against it to kind of get an idea of how to play against it. Considering it's a deck that's meant to counter my deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, without knowing how to play against the counter to essentially try and counter it, that's going to be a tough matchup. Any decks where they can kind of play out of nowhere, I feel it's going to be a problem because
Honestly, Dax when it gets going is a problem. Well,
decks can be a problem, definitely, especially since it's all deleting combat and stuff.
I have the worry of most of my tamers are unsuspended, so as long as I only have one and they keep going for it, I'm in a problem.
But no, I mean, like some other decks, like some like real underdogs / rogue decks and stuff would be stuff like Machindra, where it's just like the answers aren't always on board to take control of.
Yeah.
Where it's just like decks where it's at any given moment, it's like a deck where like I can sit there and go, right, I've got control of your entire board, and their entire game plan of their deck is to kind of like bring their boss monster or their main game plan essentially out of nowhere. Like, I can't deal with that if it's in the hand or like it becomes from the trash or something. It's like at that point, it's like you can't counter that. It's just like, okay, cool, here's a new machine, come on, it's got rush and stuff, and I was like, I couldn't stop that with anything in my deck. You know what I mean? It's like, and like especially since also you got a thing like Digimon most of the time, unless they're using option cards to make it cheaper, which if they wouldn't do with Dragon Modes in the board, a lot of people wouldn't. They would happily probably just hard play a Machindra at that point.
Well,
at that point, it's like they're gonna hard play Machindra. It's got rush. It's got its Digivolve and stuff.
Something we also have to be a wee bit wary of is Vortex.
Some of the new EX7 decks.
I know it's kind of new, but like a rush for game, maybe one thing, but you have Vortex, which is basically Rush Blitz.
It has to. The thing is, Vortex has to attack a Digimon. They can't attack the player. It's the
tamer redirects the attack.
The structure deck tamer lets them redirect the attack to another Digimon or the player.
But like at that point, though, that's what I'm saying. There is the option. That coming out and not being a problem.
I think quite a lot of the EX7 stuff is going underrated right now. Like, I've played on the simulator against, like, I think basically every EX7 deck at this point. I've played against Dragon Link, which can be kind of annoying to get rid of their level 6s with, because they just kind of keep floating into each other from hand and trash. So that's quite annoying, and they both have effects that stop you. Like the red one stops you playing or moving Digimon with 6,000 or lower DP. So like you can't move them from the breeding area, you can't play them at all, and then the black one stops your level 4 and lowers Digivolving, and like if they're running the old one, it stops any of your unsuspended Digimon from Digivolving. That's probably on the weaker side of EX7. Like, Lilith X can be super tricky because it's essentially just an upgraded Merva Anubis loop deck. So they run that sort of engine plus the new Lilith stuff, and they constantly make your own Digimon. The Vortex deck, like Trevor says, like, can just kind of rush you down like with constant attacks. And the biggest issue of that deck is actually like playing against you and playing against randomers on the simulator is the fact that the level 5 and the level 6, I believe it's for the level 5 it's the X7 one, but for the level 6 it's the starter deck one, can become unaffected by Digimon effects, which is really, really difficult to get over.
There is a slight caveat to the level 5 one though. So the level 6 one, its conditioned super easy. Just it needs to unsuspend or something.
Something needs to unsuspend. It's Blackboard game. It's like anything unsuspends.
Something needs to unsuspend at any given point, and it gets plus 3,000 DP and is unaffected by all your positive bonus. The level 5 though, when it gets until the end of your opponent's turn, by suspending one of your Digimon on Digivolution, you have to suspend one of your own to get that.
But that's easy enough.
Oh no, yes. I know it is easy enough. Sometimes that's not always the perfect, like for what you want to do, sometimes you want to suspend your opponent's Digimon because that's the only way to get Vortex or something to trigger, because you need a target to attack into.
Yeah.
Which then at that point you got to make the option of, do I want to give myself the immunity or do I want to get this guaranteed suspend right now?
But there's that. There's Hexablow is super annoying as a deck as well as just a card in itself, because there's so much trashing of sources. Like source trash has always felt bad. Puppets, I've played against about 6 different builds of puppets using like the normal puppet stuff, like full Centralmon, using like puppet rush, so using a lot more chest stuff and like just trying to like just rookie rush essentially.
Probably a lot of
Sukamon
Systemon stuff probably as well.
A couple different variations of that. There's been one that ran like a bunch of Sukamon stuff that kind of kept spawning bodies after I deleted their stuff as well. So like I felt like I was safe, and then I'm like, wait, it's their turn again, and they have 6 bodies on the board still. They can just swing through my stuff. And it's like, I kind of didn't even, like...
It's my watch, probably.
Yeah. I kind of didn't even realize while playing against it until the end of the turn. I'm like, there's actually still so much on here. I haven't... I've dealt with their big thing that was, like, scary looking.
I was gonna say
but that sprouted out, like, 7 different Pokemons, and it's like, oh, this has happened here. Yeah. There's that.
Honestly, speaking of that point as well, there is one that I feel deck that could be underrated that like a lot of people probably aren't playing, and that's Diabora.
Diabora is
because it can put out tokens crazy.
I feel like
fast.
the issue we're gonna find with this being a best of one is any deck that can pump out bodies. At least, especially for me, because collision is a forced effect. I don't have a choice in it. Like, any deck that can pump out bodies is going to be something that's tricky for me to go against, because I'm going to be constantly forced to hit a body rather than a security. Like, that's another thing about deck. Like, it's actually relatively slow in how much damage it does. It can get up fast and deal with your board fast, but actually getting through your security, that's...
I was going to say, this is where I have the issue as well. If they go really wide on all different levels, I kind of become very slow.
I mean, there's always weaknesses there. I mean, one of the things we should probably also quickly mention, because I don't know if we actually mentioned it yet, but just in case, for the sake of the podcast and stuff, obviously we're talking about regionals and stuff right now, that which, like I say, by the time this podcast is live, we'll be playing at. Or it should be ended.
Well, man, like...
Just quickly, just in case we haven't gone through it before, I'm planning on playing Impale Dread at a regional. What's your plans for the deck? What deck are you playing?
Decks?
Obviously, it is Blue Hybrids.
I think we were all playing it tonight.
Yeah.
It's just for the sake of the podcast, so people are aware of what decks we're taking. Now, obviously...
Oh, well, you were playing Magic.
Imagine
That's why, yeah.
People see it, and they're like, I know what you're playing.
Well, like I say, this video won't go live till 5 o'clock.
So we'll already be in the originals. I need that late for them to be here.
Not only will we already in, we'll be coming close to the end of the day.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's just in case we haven't mentioned that yet. Obviously, us three have deck profiles up on the channel and stuff, of our regional decks and stuff. Even then,
so anyway, where's yours?
even then, between those deck profiles and even today, the three of us have made changes, I believe, and like, I think you also have,
well,
to our decks from the profiles.
I technically have. I'm thinking I've been messing around a wee bit in ratios, not too much, but I think it's mostly the high end I've been messing about with.
Yeah, but even like you've been compared to the profile that's uploaded, like our decks aren't 1-for-1 to our profiles anymore. They have been adjusted.
I mean, mine's not changed that much.
I mean, mine's changed by 3 cards. I can name the cards.
One or two.
I mean, mine's changed. I think also.
And I don't think
5.
I know mine's changed 1 or 2. I believe all the cards that have changed, at least apart from one, all the cards that have changed are actually still in the deck. They're just different ratios.
Also, to kind of finish around what we were saying before and stuff as well, because I mean, I said my thing. What are you most scared of going against?
Honestly, it's tricky.
I didn't realize I was a deck tricky.
No, honestly, it's difficult to say.
Get a drink of water.
It's difficult to say because there's actually quite a lot of different factors I'm more worried of going against. Blue decks in general are scary to me. Like Ancient Guru, Mirage, whether it be like normal Mirage or like Galaxy Mirage, even Imperial Digimon to a certain extent. Any removal that isn't deleting me is not fun to go against. Like at any moment, like I actually forgot halfway through our game that you have to bounce the lowest level. I was half expecting at any moment an Ancient Guru to come down and you'd be like, bounce your door boring.
Honestly, there's what I'm saying.
I'll be honest, I forget about it all the time.
Yeah.
And if I had, I think it was if I had one more memory and I had a red color source when I was going against you, I had the Crimson Blaze in hand, which would have removed your 2 level 4s.
Yeah.
But like, not having that memory and not having that red source, I was like, I'm fucked because I can only bounce the fucking Tyrannosaurus.
The other thing I have to like mirror match is quite difficult because it's basically who can ever.
be fair,
It's difficult.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, but it's-
you're the only one that's got practice in the mirror match.
It's
I've
very.
had practice.
Oh, sorry, you have.
Yeah.
Technically.
It's
Sorry, what am I thinking about? To be fair, your practice isn't fair. We know Argo's not playing a normal build.
Argo's playing Argo build.
And it works for him.
It's Argo like.
I want to point out it's not me saying this stuff if you're watching.
Argo, we love you. But
I didn't say anything about
really
it.
have a weird build, and it works, and we hate it.
But like the mirror match is definitely a difficult situation to be in because it's. I don't even know how to describe it properly. It's basically who. It's not even who can see a certain thing first. It's basically who like can force the other one into their combo, like in the way. Like it's just you staring each other down, going, "I'm gonna make you do this so that I benefit," and that's the way it is in every game. But it's like when you're staring down the mirror match, it's like you know how this goes. And it's like, it's just sort of annoying
I was gonna
to
say,
deal with.
that was one thing as well. I feel like I need more practice actually against your attack, which kind of spun.
I've been saying this for a while, you've refused to play me. You're like, I know it. Too old.
Like, if you hear any banging and stuff in the mic, I do apologize. Please keep banging their arms. I don't have no idea if the mic's picking it up.
I will definitely be picking it up.
This man. That's not almost like I 2-0'd him last
Yeah.
time.
Also, I love the boon sidetrack. So if I keep looking this way, it's because I'm keeping an eye on the OBS recording. And toes my phone. There's a friend of ours that was meant to join us for the podcast today. He's been messaging and stuff. Just wishing
John's
him the best in that.
Is he surviving well?
Yeah.
But like, and apart from all that, it's very scary for me to go against like the random outlier decks because I'm kind of like Dexter Agora is kind of, you really have to know your sequences for playing against certain decks. Like there is a sequence to go against Imperial. There's a sequence to go against Ancient
I
Karuna.
suppose, like, you also have Ragnar to deal with.
Yeah, so like
Possibly
Diabora, I had to learn a whole new sequence of things to do to basically get around their D-Digivolve inheritable. Like, I had to learn a whole new sequence of how to order my effects for specifically Diaboromon. And I have to do that against every single
And you have to
deck.
do the best
Was
of
it
one.
Diabora where you were constantly in a state of being de-digivolved, deleted, to then re-digivolve to the deck?
That was just Shiro just messing up. He did it like 3 times in a single game, and he's like, I don't know why I keep doing this. I'm like, me either.
Say if it was me playing it. Jokes, Shiro. Jokes.
But like, that's the thing as well. And like, that's not just Shiro. Other Diaboromon players have done that exact same thing. Like, Red Bastion, who was on Shine tonight, he's played Diaboromon against me in past.
I don't know if I would make that mistake.
Well, you've been told it now.
But even if I haven't been told that, I don't think I would make that.
Trevor, I'm telling you right now, if we had a game of Diabora against Dex, you would still make that mistake. And that's not, and that's not you on not.
Someone's cocky out the window.
You would just forget. That's the thing, you do just forget.
But like again, that comes down to it as well. You have one game to figure that out as well.
Exactly.
Even
I
against
have
you,
one game to figure out what my best play against Dex are. And it's like, it's very difficult whenever, like I say, Dex is kind of a slower deck in the format.
I get another underdog pick that's probably going to be around, I would say enough to have a bit of presence there that we've had 0 practice against. But yet it seems to always be, well, 2 decks even, sorry. One being the Beluga deck that goes with level 70 and 8. And Shine.
What?
Shine's getting results.
It is.
And
China always picks up a couple.
and the decks the versions of the decks that are getting the results, we've had 0 practice against. Obviously, we know Shine stuff, but we know old Shine, and even the Shine we got practice against tonight was old Shine. New Shine.
Well, Laura was running the new Shine.
Laura was on
because we
new.
helped her build that.
Yeah, she was on New Shine, but we still don't fully know New Shine well enough.
I feel though.
I've been saying for like since BT17 came out, New Shine feels so weird.
I played New Shine against you on my blue hybrids in a practice game, and it did look like that Shine was about to take blue hybrids.
Well, this is what I mean though.
I'm going to be honest.
But
you saw that hand. I was sitting on 4 level 6s and 2 level 5s in hand.
I didn't blast.
In blue hybrid.
I didn't blast because time had been called when you were swung, and I was like, okay.
But like, even if you did, what I wasn't doing anything.
But what I'm saying is the way the deck was playing just.
The other thing about today as well is like even if Laura was on it, and like for those of us that went as well, she was learning the deck.
Yeah.
So you can't really class that as proper practice because it's not someone that knows that. Like there was we've had zero possibility and chance to practice against New Shine in the version that's getting results. So
I've been playing a little bit with the new stuff and like swapping out ratios here and there, and it's so strange because it's like the actual rhythm of the deck. That's what I've been trying to explain for like a month now, and I've just kind of figured it out. The actual rhythm of the deck has changed to be less like full speed and more like
funny that
steady
they have
build
a called rhythm now, and they say the actual rhythm of it.
yeah. But like, anyway, to go back to it, like any of the sort of non like known decks, like any sort of tier 2 deck is slightly worrying to go up against, only because I have to figure it out in the moment of like certain decks. Yeah, I'm gonna just win outright because the matchup's gonna suit me.
Well, what he's saying is like people like me, you, possibly Amy, because I don't know how Machindramon plays in that regard. We're going to do the same thing regardless against every deck. He has to play.
I have to play
the opponent's deck.
The way I play against you, the way I play against Ninja Gurumon, the way I play against Machindramon, it is on the most part different for every single matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the lucky part for me, the only part of strategy change I need is against that of like the Mother Shoto combo we spoke about. But that's easy enough to find out. Like the moment they go hatch, I see Mother, and like, okay, I know what strategy I need.
Mine's if I want the board or not, realistically. I have to make the decision on.
So to continue to suck around, Amy, any particular decks off the top of your mind that you're worried about going in?
I'm only worried about hybrids because it's just the memory in it and the fact that I need Collision to activate for my version of Machindra to have its full effects because I want it to interact with it.
Yeah.
If they don't have anything out, then I'm like...
On top of that, with Mother Blocker being the thing and the redirects, that's the one thing that's good against Machindra for... That goes for Machindra against Blue Hybrids is the unblockable doesn't become a problem because you have the redirect.
Yeah.
But
so, like,
sometimes they can just go too quick that you have no option.
I know. Like when I see this stuff, if I can get things out before they've done with setup, or if I see the right pieces, then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm sweet. But even Ben earlier, he was just swaying everything he had out. Anything in this world, because you don't have anything for me on this.
Because they're all dead now.
They're all dead.
It's like
exactly. We don't care about our Digimon. We just want to get your security.
That's how it feels. And the thing is, like, when you compare the two, the biggest reason I would arguably say one of the bigger reasons that Blue Hybrid over Red's getting more results is because, let's be honest, one way of checking security versus the other is clearly better. When you actually have to physically check security, Red Hybrid goes, we've got 2 checks. And if that first check goes, I kill your line, well, they've had 1 check. Blue Hybrid goes, I've got 2 checks, but one of those checks is I'm putting it in your hand, I'm not actually checking the card. You're getting your 2 checks.
Yeah.
Which is the funny thing, like in one game I've had 2 blue, or 2... Have I ever had 2 agent? I think in one game I had
against
2
me you have.
Yeah, I bounced 2 cards to bring your security to your hand.
Yeah, that was a brutal game.
And the thing is, this is something that comes up pretty common. Like, obviously it's just the whole different colours do different things better. But it's just like a lot of times when they bring out like Greymon, Garurumon, and like Ancient Grey, Ancient Garu, anytime they bring out 2 decks that typically is a red and a blue variant of a deck, the blue variant is always the better one out of the 2, just because its way of doing stuff is safer and more consistent.
It's not even that, it's usually more memory efficient because it's blue.
I also think it because it's blue is exactly the point as well, because they have more access to draw. as well,
Yeah.
which means they see their
100%.
pieces way quicker.
Which is kind of amusing, right? Because I mean, for the longest time, like there was the joke going around of this is really the Greymon card game, right? Because Greymon got support every set. When in reality, it's like, yeah, Greymon's.
PT6.
I mean, like don't get me wrong, Greymon's had a good few showings in like toppings and stuff over its time. But I think there's only ever been one time it's been the dominating factor, and that was BT11 with Black War.
Even at that though, like
Even at that though, it wasn't like tremendously the outlier.
I was gonna say as well, like at that point,
I don't know, I remember
Now
seeing
Garurumon
stuff
was
back then.
still-
It was.
now Gurumon's still running quite well against it though. And like now there's been something
Against
that's
Black
always-
War, because Black War had the whole thing of if anything comes unsuspended, I'll trash security and delete your lowest. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah.
remember when
that-
these were like top decks.
You know what? Here's
when it was
something-
just
that was painful.
but pre-BT11 though, like when it was still just like of a war grade.
Well, that's what I'm saying. PT6 to PT9 basically was all Melga. I mean,
Yeah. Here's the thing though, like I've been thinking.
you want to be
Dax
careful, that's dangerous.
Dax is
look, he needs to get it out of his way so we can beat him in the regionals. That's fine.
I've heard obviously other sort of YouTubers and stuff and talk about Dax, but especially like before actually BT17 dropped, like they compared it to Black War, like back in its heyday a lot, and it is a very similar deck and how it's set up. It's like multiple Digimon at the same level. You're doing board control. You're doing board control from battle, from forcing certain attacks to go the way you want, from tamer deletion. But it's also kind of a lot worse than Black War was at that time, because you're not doing it on mass as much.
I was about to say,
Like
the biggest
Black War could
difference.
just drop a Hades Force, and now your tamers are
I was
gone.
about to say the biggest way I feel to compare it from. Not only I've played your deck like once or twice. I've played against it many more times.
Yeah.
And obviously I've played a lot of Black War. And the best way to compare it, it honestly feels decks, put them into sane perspectives. Dex is the jack of all trades, master of none, where Black War was the master of its trade.
Yeah,
Like-
it did its one thing perfectly,
Like
amazing.
I want to delete this singular line, I'm going to fucking do it. I want to delete tamers, I'm going to annihilate every tamer on the planet. Dex kind of goes, I'm going to do a little bit of this, I'm going to do a little bit of that.
Yeah. Dex feels like it's like a tangled like mess of like it can do like so much, but you've got to like follow the one thread to figure out the path to actually removing one Digimon. It's like
Every thread leads to a different deck that it needs
Yeah.
to play against. That you need to like.
it's like, oh no, I've ended up in the Ancient Garurumon side of things. No, I need Imperial Dramon counters. It's like
But then again, like,
even sometimes, if I'm just not careful and I just swing and I've forgotten that, oh no, I don't have the decks in trash, or I haven't checked, or
Yeah.
I've seen it and it actually hasn't gone to trash, it's gone to
it feels
bottom
like
deck.
that's what I was going to say. So like, although you're saying you feel like the Black War variant, I was going to say Impaler feels like the Melga.
Yeah, because it swings so much.
But the difference is it does everything better.
It does. The best way to put it, like, Impildra honestly feels like Melga before that blue egg got hit to 1.
Yes and no. You still have theft protection in the form of partnership. Melga has always struggled with theft protection. But,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know, like, there's a lot, like, that you look at and you're like,
I mean, it is kind of a weird thing. Like, if we really, like, truly sat down and think, there's probably a lot of decks where, like, you go, well, Machinedra feels like this, or Red Hybrid feels like this, or, like...
Machine's always been bad. I don't know what we're comparing that to.
I'm saying, like, you could probably easily go to all the formats of decks that have and stuff and go, well, this deck's just that, but today's version of it,
Yeah.
type thing. And because that happens in all card games eventually, right? Eventually, like, certain strategies get rinsed and repeated, or they get a new breath of life to look different, but in reality it's kind of the same.
Almost power creep, but at the level of... Power creep, but at the level of... How am I trying to say this? Power creep, but... You're really making it hard.
That's the idea.
But like, it does. It feels like
hippo coming out of
power creep, but for some reason in Digimon, the way power creep goes is like almost extreme.
I mean, that's the thing.
yeah.
So the things with Digimon with power creep, it either goes a nice gentle level of just steady power creep.
You steadily move up.
You can either see the power creep happening, or we just suddenly jump a few sets of power creep and just suddenly jump to 3 years in the future from 2 sets. And it's just like
sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. From 1 set, it's just suddenly like, this is a power creep I expect 3 years from now, not today.
It's not even that. You get tricked into thinking you're in it. Sometimes you get tricked into thinking you're in a whole new format, right? Like the jump between like 17 to EX7, like we were kind of expecting of like, hey, this is going to be the same decks we're seeing. Like EX7 isn't actually going to add that much, but the jump between BT17 to EX7 has actually been way more major than we thought. Like, and you can't even explain why, because it's not even like at the local level we're not seeing that many EX7 decks.
But that's
nobody
has it, yeah.
On the simulator, when you do see the EX7 decks, they're not as common as like stuff like Imperial Dramon. At least not for me. They're not as common as like Imperial Dramon or like
that's where
hybrid or something like that.
When you do see them, they are impactful.
They're impactful.
Well, that's what
like,
I was gonna say as well. Though, with like us going to this, we have to remember we're still within the UK area, which is why I think our decks might see more percentage right stuff than say the X7 stuff, because we aren't getting it.
Yeah, the thing is, it does beg the question though, because technically, by the terms of delay on day of recording this, EX7 is legal tomorrow.
Yes,
for tournament play.
Which means anyone that can order cards from it and get them in time.
But at the same point, it also comes down to tournament organizer. Like,
I'm assuming we haven't heard of anything about it not being legal, so we have to assume it is.
We have to assume it is. But like, say if tournament organizers, like in their local area, if it could literally be their local area. So obviously, we've said before it's Glasgow. We'll go to for regionals and stuff. But the thing is, so it's like, say Newcastle, right? Say Newcastle had a supply. They've got 50 cases of EX7. Thrown out as an example, right? Just because Newcastle has 50 cases, if Glasgow had seen 0 the entire time, it still puts them on grounds enough to announce it's not legal because they're local area. So therefore,
I guess,
because in their eyes, it's not easily accessible, even though it could be. But to them, from what they can see, it's not accessible. So therefore, it's not fair for everyone. Yeah. So at that point, the tournament organizer could still come out and say EX7 is not legal. We could, and the thing is, they could easily make that announcement. They are allowed to, but if they do, they have to also give the players the opportunity to change their decks to make them legal.
Store owner did and sell EX7 at the venue, saying, "Hey guys, by the way, it's legal."
Or you could just like walk into a thing it's best of 3, and then like after you've handed in your deck list, be told it's a best of 1.
Yeah. Or you could be both of those store owners because it's the same store owner and it's the same store. And you could also be the store that's running a giant host of card events, including Digimon for the first time ever, because you said you wouldn't run in-person Digimon events again. But you're doing it again for the first time in a very long time, a big Digimon event on the same day as Glasgow Regionals, where a bunch of the best Digimon players aren't going to be there. You could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, plans with them, isn't it?
In all fairness, he does run a good store. It's just a shame his decision making on that was not there.
It's all. I mean, I'll also say my personal standpoint is customer service isn't great.
We're not going down that hole.
No. But no, so, I mean, I actually have no idea how long we've been recording for or anything. But to get an idea...
1:24 now.
I know this. To get
a while.
I mean, it was 20 minutes ago my watch went off. But no, to maybe do any final thoughts and stuff, in case like we want to wrap the video up or we continue nattering away or whatever. But just a final question to throw out there. What deck do you think will win it all?
Blue hybrid, let's go.
That's gotta be me now. Honestly, I think it's probably gonna be something we're not expecting. I think it's gonna be something.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's gonna be something along the lines of like maybe Galaxy Mirage. Could have a chance.
I'll let you finish before I was gonna say what I was gonna say.
I either think it's gonna be some really rogue deck, like I hope, as a rogue player, or I don't know. Maybe I can just because I feel like that's just my work.
I mean, a good player or Pilgrim could easily take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly feel, considering it is best of one Swiss to begin with,
And Pilgrim has consistency. You get through.
I'm honestly in two minds between Impaled and Blue Hybrid.
Honestly, I feel like for Blue Hybrid to take it all, there has to be some weird tech piece that comes out. And I don't know what tech piece that is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean,
I really wish I had that answer so I could put it in my deck.
but no, I mean, real ask a quick question. With the fact that it's best of one, obviously, we've seen Levia popping its head up and stuff to counter Impaler and stuff. Do you think we'll see it at Glasgow with it being a best of one, or do you think Levia's good against Impaler in a best of
I
three
don't
more?
think Levia picked up a lot in the UK in general.
I was
Even
going
when
to
I
say the
was
same
there?
thing. I
Yeah.
don't think a lot. It's at least in a lot of European tournaments. I don't think I saw it a lot earlier this year when it was first coming into its own. And I think what was the last results we got? Was it a European one or it's a US one? I think Levia has always been something that's more popular in the US.
I think so as well. I think a lot of UK players play their own decks, so you get what I mean.
Well, I mean, it's like some of the thing I found out is like some of the decks that are used quite often now came from over here. I mean, for example, a deck that I don't know if it's America or the UK, Europe, whatever. I know it's the English side of the card game
Yeah.
is the reason it got built, and Japan plays it sometimes, but they really don't like to. But Japan never built this deck; they never created this deck.
Which is rare.
Security control.
No, Japan
No.
plays it more often now than
Oh yeah,
it
they
used to.
play more often now. But what I
It
mean,
still shows
but
results in
the
East.
English side of the card game is the one that invented security control.
That makes sense. I could see that.
So the latest one was an online.
Well, for what region though?
Tech game, so I'm guessing America.
Yeah. So, like, that's the thing. I think America.
Oh, that's
likes-
something we never touched on. Sorry, I just saw something.
Go on.
Vaccine.
Armor vaccine.
Armor vaccine is still a thing.
Again, that's
Yeah,
another
probably.
one of the choices that the
I mean-
Galaxy Mirage player.
I seen the Pokemon there. The way.
I mean, so you want to talk about some choices that we haven't spoken about? That's also a thing. So there's
Demon Lords.
Demon Lords is a thing because Shoto has put them up enough.
Yeah.
Impildra is a thing. A deck that a lot of people put high in their tier lists. They put as tier 1. And I only ever see it in more of America than I do Europe standings is Mirage. I don't see many Mirage decks as people put it. People put Mirage tier 1 because it's got heavy OTK potential. But
It has been the
It doesn't work anymore.
No, but this is what I've said about Mirage for like over a
If I
year
can get
now.
one fast enough, just never had the
It
number.
is the same deck. It has functionally not changed for over a year, and I'm so annoyed.
I'm gonna say as well though, like the reason that Mirage you'll probably see as the OTK deck over Melga. I am a Melga player. We're not going in black. But Mirage gets memory back faster than Melga has ever done.
Yeah.
Which is the reason it becomes the better OTK deck because it
It's
can get
so
up the
memorable.
line faster.
Here's something though. Going back to talking about the Fenrir deck, the Kamikazuchi one, like that, I feel like in Europe people are running that more as the OTK deck in the format because it is.
But then again, that Fenrir has always been an OTK deck.
This variant is very different from the.
Oh, I know. I remember you saying when you were talking
And-
about building it.
And it's like, I feel like it's if you can just learn it, It's so simple, but like it's a case of like
I think it's,
you have to see everything.
yeah, that's what
You
I was gonna say. I
can't
think
be
it's so
missing a
specific.
you can't substitute a piece here or there. You can't really like be like, oh well, I don't have this, it's fine, I'll just swing with this instead. No, you have to see every single card in your deck in the exact order you need to see it perfectly,
Again, this is
or
where,
it doesn't work.
this is what we're saying. This is why blue is such the more OP variant for
Mm-hmm.
OTK, because you have so much draw power in inheritables.
Yeah.
You have add, you have search, you have draw.
I think Fenrir is actually. It took a while to get recognized for being like it was recognized for being really really good from the offset. It's taken me a while to realize why. Like I just didn't have faith in it before, but it's seen more and more tops recently.
Yeah, I mean that's also one of those decks though where you need to see everything. I mean, honestly, like there's quite a few decks that are topping, and like to be honest, like we're in a blue dominant meta. Like blue is the dominant
It's
color.
been like that for a while.
Blue
It
and
has.
purple.
This is where I feel like
There's a lot of
Because
purple.
the thing is, because blue is the dominant meta, there is one big outlier card that kind of gatekeeps a lot of decks. A big elephant.
Ice Wall. No.
No, Paladin mode ace.
Oh.
Mhm.
Paladin mode ace. It's a big gatekeeper
Fucks me
to a
over.
lot of decks.
Certain decks just lose to it. Certain decks.
it
like-
also depends on how the deck works, though, because like as you have pointed out before, bottom decking your own trash can sometimes be more beneficial than your opponent's.
Well, I mean, it's like for example, if I'm against like decks,
You're going to bottom deck.
most of the
decks.
time I want to bottom deck your trash just to get your deck's cards away from you.
I mean, it depends
Well,
on
if
the
I'm
moment
again- if
you're
I'm
at.
but-
If I'm swinging with a ruin mode, I don't really care.
yeah. But no. But if it's against like
You?
if I'm against like a mirror match though, I'm gonna rather bottom deck my own trash. It's just like
So you don't deck out.
I don't deck out as fast.
On top of that, as well, I
Especially
feel
since I
like,
also play two Paladin modes.
I was
though.
going to say,
If I see both of them, I'm constantly looping.
especially if you get one in there, you just go, okay, this Paladin mode, bottom deck mine, I gain the memory, but I also have a Paladin mode in my deck again.
That's it. If you get two, you can loop them to the point where it's like, cool, I'm just going to constantly keep looping my trash from these two Paladin modes. I'll never deck out.
Weirdly, decks deck stories should care about Paladin mode far more than I actually think it does. Like, because it does care about its trash, but the issue is, like,
how
if
many
I've already
times?
used it, then...
How many times have I hard played Paladin mode against you and then went to take the game?
But how many times... Here's the thing, that's hard playing it, that does feel different. I mean,
It's got the
purely
mind to
for
begin with.
blasting. Like, it should be like, oh, crap, they blasted into Paladin mode. I've lost now.
It doesn't do
But
it.
anytime it's blasted in, like, I don't care. It doesn't stop me attacking.
It doesn't-
That's
it
why.
doesn't
That's
do
why I don't
enough.
think
Oh no,
it
I
is.
understand that.
Honestly, it needs to be really early against you to have any sort of viability.
But it can't be too early either.
No, it has to be sort of at that point where
Gotta be,
your
like,
trash is
holding
sitting
it for
at the
years.
perfect amount, and you
There's
just
got to
have
be like, there's like a perfect height.
Tight.
And then, like, if it's even slightly
skydiving
past or
here.
slightly below it, it's like it does nothing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I could have a stack trash. I'd have 40 cards in my trash. And you could go Paladin mode, put all of them to the bottom, and it feels like that should hurt me.
But it doesn't
beyond
because your
belief.
board state's already too
But
good.
yeah, by that stage, like, I'm so far into the game, I've kept the right cards in my hand to refill that again.
Oh yeah.
And that's not even me playing around Paladin. That's just a natural
I
version
feel
of what
like
the deck's doing.
Wait, I'm not
when
gonna
you
lie,
were when you were swinging,
I
that-
feel like at that point though, if you're at the point where you've got 40 cards in trash, there's
I'm
not
not
then
exaggerating.
I know exaggeration, but I'm saying in the scenario, like you're not got many left in deck. I feel like at that point you've got to weigh the options, right? Is it worth bottom decking their trash to take away options away from them in the hope they don't have them in hand and like they haven't played it correctly?
again, it depends on
Or
what
is
they're on.
it better me doing something else to try and stall it out for a deck out?
Because if you're on Dexter Riga, right, like you get to play stuff from the trash.
Yeah.
So obviously, depending on what you're on, also sort of depends on that situation.
The other, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, Dex is a really awkward deck to play against in that sort of sense, where you need to be really specific on what options you have. Like, whenever I'm playing against it with Machinedra, I always forget that I need to redirect the attack instead of letting it block, so my analog man isn't removed. It's such a small thing, but it really screws me over.
Yeah, because you
Like,
top your analog
even
man.
though you know collision's going to happen, you still want the read. Just that team is now suspended. Now they can't
Yeah.
Because
access it.
on top of that, when you redirect, you can still block with the one that you redirected into.
Yeah. But like, what I was gonna say is, no, it's gone. No,
I mean, it's like something. It's a similar.
God.
I mean, it's like
You smug prick.
it's something similar. Like I've said against you before, when like I've DP minus your line,
Yeah.
and you've been like, "Is it even worth me doing the Dex Digivolve trash?" I'm like, I would say it is, yeah, because you're gonna get the draw still.
Yeah, it happened against Shine today. He did minus 8k, and he kind of did the extra minus, or said about the minus 2k afterwards, after I'd like decided to do the Digivolve. But it's mandatory DP minus, it has to happen, and he's just going through it. I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like, oh wait, 8k, I'm only 7 after I Digivolve. So it's still dead anyway. I'm like, but I've already processed that. It was like, no, sorry, that actually didn't happen then, because minus 8k, like you said.
Because they had to resolve all this back on.
Yeah. But he kind of didn't really realize what that meant in terms of how the digivolving process
No,
afterwards
because
he's not used to
you
it.
have to do all your effects before the digivolving effect.
I mean, to be fair, so Red Bastion, like I say, I went against round 1.
Yeah.
And I had to remind him of a lot of his effects. The amount of times where, especially because you would go burst mode against me, and then you go swing with the team and burst mode trash security and stuff. And I'm like, you've got Coronons here, you need to cross on.
Yeah.
They're mandatory.
Ben was missing. But I was just letting him go on
I don't know. I think it's one of them decks that's hard to play against, depending on, because you not only is that web index for them playing, that web also is you trying to play against them.
That is. But I feel like, I feel like people overcomplicate playing against decks though.
It's simple how to do it.
It's actually very simple to play against it. But this is what I was talking to you earlier after we finished. My whole objective of my deck is to make your deck feel like it's not working. That's what it does.
I feel like
it blows your stuff up in such precise ways where it feels like you're bricking when really
I was gonna say though, even playing against that, I don't feel it was just the deck that was making me feel it was the way you were playing it. You were like, leave him what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't help but find it easier when you're saying the entire goal of decks is to make you feel like your deck's not working. Immediately in my head, the title I give your flipping deck profile goes so true there. The corruption is taken over.
Yeah.
The idea of your deck's to corrupt the opponent's deck.
It's almost, realistically, your decks are
sniping your key pieces.
It's the tilt.
Yeah, slightly.
You're forcing them to tilt. To be fair, even today, I've played room mode. I know what room mode does. I fucking blasted it.
You were like, wait, at the end of attack it deletes my Digimon?
I was like, I for some reason, I just completely blanked that.
I went to 9 memory and then tapped analog, gained the 10th.
It's just like, what have I just done? I've just handed him the game.
Tamer, Digimon, Digimon in the back.
So that's what I was like, I've just handed him the game. I have nothing now. I've really fucked this.
Here's the thing though, we keep kind of in our heads, because we kind of have to in a way, imagining every single matchup in this upcoming regionals, we're going to be going against the best player on this deck. If we go against Imperial Digimon, we're going to be facing the winner of every single round.
Well, that's something to think about against us, because I make lots of mistakes.
But here's the general thing. There's only going to be one winner of that regional. It's going to be me. No, but there's only going to be one winner. There's only going to be, top 8, top 16. There's only going to be a handful of
No, there's
out
going
of this world.
there's going to be
players.
4 winners because there's going to be the team winners and there's going to be the main winners.
But there's the majority of players we
What's
play
that the
against
whole sort of thing?
are either
Don't worry
going
about
to
that.
be like on our level of like knowing the same sort of strategies, and it's going to be a relatively even playing field, or they're probably going to be a little worse than us because I'm thinking they're going to be people there who it's their first regional, or it's their first in-person regional in a very long time.
We see over there.
Me. Hi.
Yeah, but like there's also going to be I know that I would say at least 80 people going there are going to be people that are going for the fact of, oh, it's a regional, I should go, and not like going with the outset of like they're going to do well, more of just like that we're talking about people that go to their locals, never really finish quite high, and still are going for the fun of going to a regionals.
See, I feel
And like there's
I 100% agree.
yeah.
I feel those people, the way my mind works and the way I kind of process it.
Immediately, like first, second round, they're going to be probably out of the running.
Well, they may drop or they may continue.
No,
on,
I mean,
but what
like-
what I was going to say, I feel like the people that are going to be more like of that mindset of going to the regionals for the sake of going to the regionals, they're going to be more so locals because they haven't paid to travel there.
I'm thinking anyone in Scotland and even like slightly England maybe. Just
Sure,
driving
anyone
up.
who can make that travel.
I'm about to say, I would kind of think in my head, just like to me how it works.
It's anyone that can travel a day, right? Probably.
But yeah, what I was going to say,
Yeah.
like it's like
Saturday.
I think the further away from Glasgow you're traveling to get there, the more likely you are going there with the objective of win.
Oh well, fuck. We
Because-
must be doing well. We're flying.
We're competitive players. And
Oh, sorry. I
No, but I'm
took
saying
this
this
we
is
only play competitive.
but this is what I'm saying. This is how I feel though. It's a matter of like the further away, from the further away you are from it, the more money you're going to spend to get there, which means the more you want to play more to make it worth more while.
Yeah.
Which is the way I kind of see it, right? Like, and obviously the way to play more is to do well and play a
Yeah,
good deck.
as coming from obviously, technically the first Digimon regionals on V2.
I mean, this is my first Digimon regionals.
Well,
No, this is your first in-person Digimon regionals.
we have the experience of Yu-Gi-Oh regionals.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we also have the experience. I mean, you almost went to.
I didn't get my ticket for European Championships yet.
No, but I mean, but you over high levels. Like, so I've done nationals twice.
Yeah.
You've done over.
Well, I've done nationals as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
But-
we've done other high-level Yu-Gi-Oh events and
So
stuff.
yeah,
So, like, the idea of the level of event of this Digimon is not new to us in terms of level.
no, we sort of have an idea of where you'd be because, like, even when I went to that Yu-Gi-Oh one, that was height of tier format, and like I was playing anti-meta, which is something that probably can be in Digimon. I don't know if it is.
It's meant to be my deck, and my deck. Here's the
We're
thing:
like team meta.
anti-meta in Digimon has a really bad habit of becoming meta. Like, kind of Imperial Dramon was kind of anti-meta.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, well,
When Magna was meant to be meta.
no. So the thing is, Impildra was meant to be anti-meta because Nume was meta.
And
But
Nume
Nume was anti-meta because Magna was meta.
It's like this.
I don't even want to think about playing anti-meta decks.
I like it.
Well, no, what I was going to say is, like, I think at that regional, you were actually there. At that
You
one
do-
that I
yeah,
talked-
it was.
yeah, you were on it. But, like,
I mean, for playing an anti-meta deck, anytime you went up against the anti-meta, you were trying to.
I absolutely got demolished.
demolished by it.
I won against decks I should have lost to. I lost against decks I should have won. But what I'm saying was, like, out of that, like, I think I may have played 2 decks that weren't in the meta.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, although you think about it, like, I lost round 1. Funny enough, against the best deck in the meta.
I mean, the
The deck I prepared to play against.
the deck you would find me.
Funny enough, against someone that I had actually tested with a couple of weeks ago. But then second round I went against Adam, and then so forth and so forth. But
I held you.
the thing was, like, I went from meta to non-meta because I lost. Then I went non-meta again. Then immediately every other deck was meta. As soon as I jumped back up into the like middle of the sort of rankings, it just immediately got worse.
One of the things I will say going into this is a bit of advice, more like yourself, like Amy and stuff, and you probably have felt this way because you've been to regionals and stuff before, and I know you all would agree with me. As weird as it sounds going into a regional, you kind of want to lose round 1.
Honestly, it's probably the better option because it takes the pressure.
You
off.
want to lose early on rather than later on.
Well, no, it's not even about that. I mean, like, you want to lose round 1 because I don't mean in the sense of like stat wise. It's because it takes the pressure off. Because now you don't have the pressure of I have to win every game.
Well,
like to do
no, I've never felt that way. I have never felt like
They're gonna win.
No,
Yeah.
The thing is, if you're winning game 1 and then you win game 2, and you eventually get to the point where you feel like I have to keep winning. Like you put that pressure on. It's not
maybe
about,
maybe that's because I've never won round 1 when I go to regionals. But like I always
you don't run round 2 that time we went either.
Here's the thing with me. I want to start well because that usually sets a tone.
Real.
Yeah, I understand it sets a tone. What I'm saying is though,
Depending-
if you keep snowball winning at the beginning,
Yeah.
you end up putting the pressure on yourself when you don't need it.
I don't know. I've never experienced it.
Maybe not, but that's what I'm saying. Listen to the people that have.
Don't worry, we won't be there with one round 1 and then have the
But I'm
pressure
saying,
around it.
you put the pressure on yourself, and then you end up making your own games harder because you're overthinking everything. Because now you put the pressure on yourself.
Do you remember when we went to the Yu-Gi-Oh one and suddenly like we're losing everything, but then won like one game and someone was like, "Yeah, that was like the best shit ever." Like I fucking nailed that.
But no, well, it's like
I enjoyed the game. All I said was it was an enjoyable game.
But compared to where if you like lose round 1, it doesn't matter. You could win 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at that point,
And still get top up.
and you can still get top cut, but you don't. But you
Yeah, honestly, if you lose 2 games, you're probably more than likely reaching the top.
you've got 2 losses you can take.
As long as like there's not draws and the way that depending on the like way that points go, you normally in most regionals you can have at least 2 before you.
With the amount of people that are
top.
going to be there, 2 losses is a safe bet. 3 losses, you're
You're out of the top.
you're out of the top, especially since it's also top 16.
Yeah.
But like you say, the difference is like compared to like say if you lose round 1, you could go on to win the next 6 rounds. That pressure is not. You don't put that pressure on you because you've already lost a round, right? You don't need to be undefeated. Like you don't feel that pressure on yourself.
Again, I have to disagree. I feel more pressure to win continuously.
Let me finish. Well,
After that.
But if you constantly keep winning from the get-go, it's a different kind of pressure like you put on yourself. Where it's like, okay, I'm undefeated now in round 7. I have to finish round 8 undefeated. Where it's like,
At that point, actually, probably
No.
like I can actually afford to lose this one.
Yeah, in my head, I'd be going like.
if you're a logical thinker and think about it, yes, but a lot of people don't.
I think we just have very different views on that.
Honestly,
I
no.
prefer.
It's not wrong.
Yeah. Like I put the most amount of pressure on myself early on. That's what it is. I always put my most amount of pressure game 1 because that sets the precedent, that sets the tone. If I win this one, I'm on a good
Minus
trajectory
spectator.
here.
Minus spectator. So go ahead.
Like I'll be on a good trajectory after if I'm winning. If I start on a win, then if I start on a loss. If I
So
start
then
on
how
a
come you never
loss,
took a game off me and Yu-Gi-Oh! Not regionals, whatever, flipping I lost the first one, you lost the first one, you came and you almost beat me.
I
literally-
because like I
Demolished him in every practice. Came to the round and he was like, I'm actually going to beat you.
I was this close, and I don't even remember how you came on top. It was just like
Realistically, he was winning in life points and I was sitting on a defense most certain months.
I think that was it. I just couldn't get over like something stupid. But like, yeah.
But yeah,
No,
honestly,
I
going back to
definitely
Digimon though, yeah.
I definitely think we have different views on that personally. I
I
don't think
think-
that's gonna change.
As much as
any-
I think he is right though.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the difference in a win and a loss in round 1, you can either be in the point where you've had so much pressure that the loss takes it all away, or you could be like him and want to get the win to keep the momentum.
Oh yeah.
Where you can
momentum
if you
to make.
lose the first one, then you lose the momentum,
Well-
and it's so much harder to get back.
It's hard to get back on that horse right away.
I feel that this
That is gonna be the biggest
Like
thing, though.
if you
It's gonna
like
be a
if you've
help
been
as
winning 2, 3, 4 rounds, like, and then you lose your 5th, like it's kind of easy enough to get back on for the sixth round, because like I lost 1 round out of 6 or out of 5 or however many it is. But like if you lose the very first one, like if you've immediately started riding your horse, falling off, it's like, what's the point of me getting back on this thing?
it depends.
It's just gonna throw me off.
It depends
Honestly,
how bad
that-
a loss it is. 'cause
Honestly, that's the
Usually it's a bad one in the first
honestly
round.
that's the biggest thing going into original though. So like the biggest thing is
I feel like you said the other thing was the biggest thing, but I was about to say
I was supposed to- one of the biggest things going
There's
into original
many big
yeah,
factors.
is 50% of the battles is gonna be yourself. It's going to be your own blood.
especially if you make a mistake and you
Like, the thing-
just can't get over it, you're going to like.
I have seen
over it.
players, like I was seeing Yu-Gi-Oh! To Yu-Gi-Oh! For the experience, where they have won the game. They have won 2-0. But in game 1 or 2, they made a serious misplay that meant they had to win so many turns later instead of that turn. They've then eaten themselves up over it and then went on to lose the rest of the day because they beat themselves. in
See,
the
that's
head.
just silly.
That's silly, but I'm saying it happens.
Honestly, it's hard to get it out of your
It's
head
It's a
sometimes.
psychological thing. You can't just say it's silly.
50,
Yeah, I can. I did.
50% of the battles from regionals is going to be yourself of how well do you take your own misplays, how well do you take the loss, how quickly can you bounce back.
Hi.
You're
Look at today.
Some certain people around this table, not pointing fingers at all, do it the worst. I'm actually very good at taking losses.
Not always. Sometimes you've had the worst day, and you could tell sometimes just with the way you
Not
play.
in a very long time.
I
will-
feel like you've been pretty
I will agree,
consistently.
you can sometimes take a loss just like the rest of us. Like, you can take it bad.
To be fair, I don't feel like in the long. It has been a while. I feel since you had a day where everything has just gone wrong.
I'll be honest, I think the biggest thing, like, the last time you were close to anything like that was when you went, I'm taking a break from deck. Because you felt you were getting close. Good.
I'm assuming you're going to the bathroom. No, it's
Just gonna say that on camera.
it's okay. We can miss out that bit.
It's fine.
I was gonna say
Just clips in, she's gone.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I was more taking a break from decks because I was getting bored of it because I was doing the
But
same
it was
thing.
just before you were getting bored of it, though. It was not working game after game after game. Where I felt like you were also getting closer, and you maybe not in the forefront of your mind, but subconsciously you knew you were getting to the point.
No. I was very conscious of it. I wasn't getting annoyed at the deck. I was more getting. It was just becoming.
I'm not saying
dull.
that the deck, like, annoyed at yourself,
No,
like,
no.
why is it not working? Like,
No.
I have had 2 times like that with hybrid. Today is one of them. Today just everything just felt so slow, so clunky, didn't work. And like, I mean, all of it wasn't really much of a different build from.
yeah. I can easily say I've had it a good few times with Magna. I don't know if
There was the locals where you had it with Impelger as well.
I was about to say I can't remember how
Nah,
to
you were like everything, like everyone was beating it constantly, and you're
Yeah.
like you didn't know
That was-
why.
that
Was that not the day that
Was
you
it?
came with
Yeah.
me to get the?
I thought that was when I was on Magna.
No, I think it was Impelger
I think it was in Pildra that night.
because I feel like
I think you lost to Argo's one as well.
you'd made the decision because Impelger was being or Magna was being so harsh that you were like going with Impelger. Impelger was what you were going with, and you just literally lost everything on Impelger that night, and you came here
It really
and
set you back.
you played a couple of things, and it didn't work against me either, and you just completely like shut down.
Like I say, I was like, I obviously hope, like, obviously I did. Like, I said,
Yeah, I know everyone.
I was saying, like, I just
Say-
can't remember if I
Exactly.
did.
Yeah.
I would say the
For anyone that
last.
obviously knows me, I don't have the greatest of memories. So.
Yeah, no. the last time I actually
Sorry, what?
remember getting genuinely like kind of tilted with a deck, or like after like bad results, and I have to say it still actually soured my like view of the deck a little bit, was actually the last online regionals I did, where I played Davis, and I went like 2 losses in a row against its exact worst matchups. And then in the third one, I went against Secon. Middle of it got deck checked, got brought up on having
Oh, I
clear
remember this,
sleeve,
yeah.
and got given a game loss. And not only was I given a game loss, when I decided to drop because of that, because I'm against Secon, I played the Secon versus David matchup, and it took 2 hours. Like, it's not one you come back from if you lose it. So like, to get a game loss against that, like 5 minutes into the game, and for the judge to go and be like, no, you don't have to drop, it's just a game loss. I'm like, that really got to me, of like, I'm going against like, you can see the matchup first of all, but secondly, I've explained I'm going to drop because of this reason, and for you to just turn around and say, well, you don't because it's just a game loss, means you just physically do not understand the situation I'm in. Of this matchup is not like,
And you're down a game at that point.
Be down a game against
a
a deck,
that can go to time so quickly.
and my own deck does it as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just fighting against my opponent at that point. I'm fighting against my own deck to try and speed it up where it's not meant to play like that. Like, that's the last time I've played
I was
David
gonna say,
properly.
I know that all too well. But
I've taken it apart now. Like, I took the alt arts out of it the other day. Like,
I think we've gone through most of it, and it is getting
That's-
pretty late.
that's probably where we should.
Yeah.
So yeah, all I will say is obviously try and make notes of your matchups throughout regionals, so when we come back next week,
Well, it'll be on the app, right?
maybe because it's all through Limitless. They keep
Yeah,
track of
but
names. They
yeah.
don't keep track of decks.
I was gonna
They
say,
keep track of decks in retrospect.
I'll probably make a list
I mean, personally,
on notes.
what I plan to do, I'm going to be taking one of these with me. Just to,
Oh, do you have one of them?
I've got multiple.
Oh my god, I need one.
I have multiple. But I plan to take one of these
So
down.
good for life points, though. You have no idea.
Obviously, I don't think note taking's allowed, but it's the type of thing where after the matchup, I plan just to quickly note down what I was against and stuff, just to come back with feedback with. Also, more so because I'm also hopefully planning on vlogging the experience and stuff, so that'll be a thing.
We're getting on the plane.
Potentially, yes.
But yeah, this was a good first episode.
But yeah, name undecided. Other things to name undecided.
Welcome back to the Name Undecided podcast.
Let us know if you want to see more podcast episods in the comments
Honestly, if
below.
anyone has a good name, I mean.
Not only that, but I'm now also getting pestered by this one and a friend of ours that wanted to be on the podcast today but couldn't be. Shiro, he's also pestering for us to do a tier list. If you want to see that, put in the comments below and stuff.
I feel like we all have very
we're doing
disagreements.
that. We're doing it.
I was going to say we all have very disagreements on tier lists.
We do, and I don't feel like I'm experienced or have enough knowledge. But
That's why I say we do it after we go to this region. We'll have the experience.
But yes, if you want to see more podcasts, you want to see tier lists and things like that, or any other types of videos, put in the comments down below. Thank
You want to
very
see
much.
Emily's deck list? Get on her.
Just chant in the comments, Amy, Amy, Amy.
You never know, Adam might actually voice it if she gets too shy for it, you know?
Yeah, we'll be definitely back next week. So like this is kind of more of a tester of the podcast. We'll be back next week with another podcast episode of how regionals went.
Or you have to be vlogging it throughout.
And well, I'm going to be vlogging as well, but I mean a podcast is a thing. But afterthoughts, what our actual matchups were. What were the toughest matchups?
We might have
What were the
Shiro.
easiest ones? We may have a Shiro. Well, you've all been wonderful. You've all been fantastic. And I'll catch you all next time. Until then, adios all.
Bye.